Our council meeting. In the interest of time efficiency and ensuring that everyone who wishes to address the council is given the opportunity to do so, the following will apply to all comments made by the public. Each speaker shall be allotted 3 minutes to address the council unless such time is extended by the mayor or by questions from council. Groups shall designate a spokesperson to avoid repetition in comments. Every effort will be made to avoid interrupting speakers. Thank you for your participating in your city government. I'll now call this meeting to order. And can we all please stand for the invocation by Pastor Ariel Sanabria from the Soul City Church.
Let us bow our heads and pray. Heavenly Father, we gather in your presence with grateful hearts, lifting up our beloved city of St. Cloud. We thank you for the blessing of community, for the beauty of our neighborhoods, and for the opportunity to live and serve one another in peace. Lord, we pray for our mayor, Chris Robertson, and for each member of the city council, Jennifer Paul, Colby Urban, Ken Gilbert, and Sean Fletcher. Grant them wisdom beyond their own understanding, courage to discern your truth, and compassion to serve every resident with justice and humility. May their decisions be guided by integrity, fairness, and deep concern for the common good. We lift up our Chief of Police, Douglas Gerke, and our Fire Chief, Jason Miller. Bless them with protection, clarity in moments of crisis, and a spirit of service that reflects your steadfast love. Empower all officers, fire personnel, first responders with courage, discernment, and compassion as they protect and care for our community. Lord, we pray for the entire city of St. Cloud staff, those who work in administration, public works, parks and recreation, utilities, planning, and every department that serves the daily needs of our city. Strengthen them with diligence, unity, and a servant's heart. Help them to work together in harmony, to innovate wisely, and to reflect your love in every task they undertake. We lift up the families of every city of St. Cloud staff member. Bless their homes with peace, their hearts with strength, and their lives with joy. Protect them, provide for their needs, and surround them with your grace as their loved ones serve our community. May their families feel supported, encouraged, and deeply cherished. Grant to all our leaders and servants a deep commitment to serve the least of these, the vulnerable, the marginalized, and those in need of mercy. May they lead with courage and humility, uphold truth and justice, and always seek the welfare of every citizen. Lord, fill our city with peace, peace that surpasses all understanding. Bless our schools, businesses, neighborhoods, and places of worship. Bind us together in unity and help us to support one another in times of joy and in times of trials. We dedicate our city into your hands, trusting in your loving guidance now and always. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Ariel. Will you please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Robertson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Here.
Councilmember Paul.
Here.
Councilmember Urban.
Here.
Councilmember Fletcher.
All
I
right,
heard it through the phone.
Oh, is he on the phone?
He is. Can you try that again? I hear him, but it's,
Councilmember Fletcher?
wait, hold on, he wasn't on speaker.
Yes, Mayor, I'm here.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, do we have any updates from the city manager?
Yes, thank you. I would just like to make one clarification. Council action number 1, it says discussion and possible action. It should have said discussion and possible direction regarding the 4-H exemptions. And that's all, thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. And first up, we have presentations. We have presentation of Team of the Month for the month of February to J.B. Miller and LeCedric Johnson. And this is, we're going to call up David Bridle to present this.
Good evening, everyone. I want to recognize 2 people who most of us only notice when something doesn't work or when the podium needs to be turned. And thanks to them, everything works well. That's J.B. Miller and LeCedric Johnson from our Public Information Office and our IT department. Jay and LeCedric recently completed the council chambers audiovisual upgrades, and they didn't just swap out the equipment. They took us from 1080p to 4K, which means everything is crystal clear now, including, unfortunately, the wrinkles on my face, so I apologize. The improvements they made to our cameras, audio, and displays have dramatically enhanced how residents experience council meetings both here in the chambers and watching from home. LeCedric led the video system enhancements with a focus on visibility and transparency, and Jay handled the camera and audio upgrades. Typically, within a project like this, the contractor would do this work, but Jay and LeCedric took initiative by stepping up to do this portion of work, which led to saving the city over $10,000. What really stands out is their professionalism and ownership. They worked independently when needed, collaborated when it mattered, and delivered a finished product that directly supports this council and the community. Both LeCedric and Jay have been employees of the month before, and given their dedication and work ethic, it's no surprise they're here again. I also want to thank everyone from our facilities, IT, procurement, building, and PIO teams who played a role in making the Chambers remodel a success. I'm proud to recognize Jay and LeCedric as Team of the Month and to thank them for their outstanding service to the city.
Thanks, guys. Hey, you guys are rock stars. You want to say anything, Jay? I know you're a man of few words.
I should point out, the whole project would not have been possible without Mr. Bridle coordinating all of it, so thank you, Dave.
I think there's an elevator that you had the rap for too, that you did a wonderful job. Heads off to you, because that was an awesome move, so we don't see it, but that elevator job, that's all on you, so thank you, my brother.
Yeah, now the staff here, these folks, they're all rock stars. Jay and Deborah up in the booth every night, they make sure these council meetings go off without a hitch and make sure they get broadcast out to the citizens at home that can't make it here. Obviously, LeCedric, he ensures that our tablets, our phones, our computers, that we're all in working order so we can do the best serving our public. So appreciate you guys. All right, next up, we have the consent agenda. The next portion of tonight's meeting is the consent agenda, which contains items that have been determined to be routine and non-controversial. If anyone in the audience wishes to address a particular item on the consent agenda, now is the opportunity for you to do so. Additionally, if staff or members of the city council wish to speak on a consent item, they have the same opportunity. Will the clerk please read resolution number 1?
You want to read? You're just thinking it's the consent agenda?
Oh, it's a
Mayor?
consent agenda. You're right. All right. Do we have any items on the
Mayor?
consent? Yes, sir. Councilmember Fletcher.
I'd like to pull item 4 for a separate vote, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And can I get a motion on the consent agenda for items 1, 2, 3, and 5, and 6?
Motion approved?
Motion approved from Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert,
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher,
Aye.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, Councilmember Fletcher, item number 4.
No discussion, just a separate vote. Thank you, sir.
All right, can I get a motion on that?
Motion approved?
Motion approved from Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher,
No.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you. Next up, we have citizens forum. If a person desires to comment on any item not on this agenda, is provided this opportunity to address the city council. Each person is requested to complete a sign-in form to be provided to the presiding officer prior to or as soon as practical thereafter the person addresses the council. And first up, we have Bridget Jackson.
Good evening, everyone.
Can we
my
please,
name,
yep, I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, good evening. My name is Bridget Jackson, and I am a local business owner here in St. Cloud. I own
Can we get your address for the record, please?
Sure, 1001 Exchange Place.
Thank you.
And I own Key Life Fitness and Training. It's a local gym here in St. Cloud. I also am the founder of the Key Life Cares, which is a nonprofit for women's resource, women's health benefits. We do a 5K every year down at the St. Cloud Lakefront. It's called the I Am Enough 5K in order to raise money, raise resources, bring families together. This is our third year doing the 5K. And I've had the opportunity to speak with Councilwoman Paul about being able to partner with the city to make this a St. Cloud event, to be able to expand our reach, to bring community wellness together, to be able to expand the actual event. The first year we had over 400 attendees. Last year we had about 650. So we want to continue to increase that, but also be able to create an environment for family and communities to come together, to experience wellness, to experience community, and we want St. Cloud to be a part of that as we further our research and further our resources for the city of St. Cloud. So,
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
And next up, we have Lavelle Monger.
I wish I can walk faster, you all. Good evening. I am Lavelle Munger, address 2533 Aventurine Street, Kissimmee, Florida, 34744. And I am here to piggyback on what the wonderful Bridget has stated. As you all may know, that I am a distance runner, so I've been all over Central Florida running. And I was wondering why St. Cloud doesn't have as many running activities here. From Winter Park and Park Ave and all the races that they have to Claremont. And I believe that St. Cloud has one of the best infrastructures for 5Ks, 10Ks, maybe not a half marathon right now because of traffic, and we don't want to get beat up for having those slow walkers finishing 6 hours later. But I do believe that our lakefront and that our downtown area is way more than conducive for a nice 5K. And if you all haven't been seeing the numbers from an economy standpoint, that it brings a lot of visitors in, and they can utilize the downtown businesses and the other surrounding businesses here, as well as run and get a nicer look of the amazing things that's going on in St. Cloud. So I recently ran about 10 miles Sunday. Sunday's long run, so if y'all see me between 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, fighting for my life, that's me. I finally was able to run down Florida Ave, and I love that trail, that pathway that goes from right here in 192 all the way down to the lake shore, and it's just beautiful. And the pavement that you all did for the lakefront is amazing as well. But I think what would be even better if we have thousands of people before 8 o'clock in the morning able to really see the beautiful infrastructure that we have, from the old houses, the century homes, all the way to the new things that we have downtown. So hopefully at one point I can create a formal proposal for you all so that we can consider how can we bring more people here to St. Cloud and see the wonderful things that we are doing and utilize health and wellness as a anchor for that. Thank you all.
Hey, Lavelle, thank you, sir. What is the date that you guys are looking at?
Well, this date is already locked in for the I Am Enough 5K. That's May 2nd.
May 2nd, okay. Thank you.
I thought you already did 10.
All right, next up, we have Eunice Torres from Hopkins Heroes.
Hello, my name is Eunice Torres, treasurer of Hopkins Heroes. Our address is 1100 Massachusetts Avenue in St. Cloud. So the request is, with the rebuild that's going on, it was originally for March, so we did not plan our Easter egg hunt extravaganza because of the rebuild. Now that that's being pushed back to June, Now we're trying to plan that, and with the condensed planning time, we're asking for a waiver of the liability insurance, if that can be approved. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. All right, and next up, we have James Moore.
Hello, Jim Moore, 3855 San Isidro Circle, St. Cloud, 34772. Just like to piggyback on what Councilwoman Paul brought up last meeting, and that is the work at Hopkins Park. I had an opportunity to be at Hopkins Park on Saturday, which a bunch of you guys, well, you were all there. It was an amazing event, really great community there. Nice to see the community get together. I also went back last night and spoke to them, and they have an event. They have the construction coming up, and I just wanted to get get it rolling with you guys. I know that you've probably been reached out to already, but the construction's been pushed back, and there's some concerns around the timing with summer camps, and that the summer camp kids will be able to still have their camps going on. I know there could be other opportunities going on that the city has that can get them a different environment, but there's 40 to 50 kids that attend the camps regularly, and just looking for something that we can do to make sure those kids still get that camp process going through. So make sure that you guys are aware of it, and that something that we can look at.
Okay.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. And guys, I've spoken with some of the folks from Hopkins Heroes. It was an amazing event Saturday, so we'll first start with that. Great seeing a number of folks out here that were there, Nina. The camp, you know, I understand the concerns, and I know it's under construction. I think we need to look at the numbers of kids that it serves in that community. I think we need to dive into those numbers and see, obviously with what's going on in Tallahassee, a lot of programs are gonna get cut here. Hopefully it doesn't, but with the ad valorem taxes, I think that Parks and Rec services are gonna be the first ones taking the hit. So I would like to look at the numbers of where the kids live, and if there are kids in that community, and I've talked to Stephanie Holtkamp with Parks and Rec about possibly aiding in the transportation or whatever we can do to make sure these kids attend a summer camp of some sort. We got to make sure those services are provided. I just don't know if the funding is there during the construction. So I'm going to look into it more on my side. If y'all, obviously, I think we should all take a look at it.
A great comment, Mayor. We want to help all the youths, and the map right here with Hopkins Camp, there's 46 kids that are within that area. There's 5 which are outside the area that live in Osceola County. But we have many camps throughout. We have a Civic Center camp. We have many camps. We want to accommodate them all, Mayor. I don't have the answer, but I know we want to make sure these camps are taken care of, but we have no districts in our council. So I want to make sure that all the St. Cloud citizens are taken care of for that. Underprivileged, overprivileged, whatever, we want to make sure we care for the youth. So I don't have that answer yet, but I know Hopkins is a big part, and we're putting in, I think, was it $12 to $14 million additions. And I think there'll be more camps there when that happens. So the transition, we don't want to leave these kids out, but how do we make it viable? I don't have that answer. I ask the pleasure of the council to help me figure out for this. Every kid's important. So if there's 48, 46, 50, they're all important. How do we transition that? I ask the pleasure of the council to help me decide how we accommodate these children as we build Hopkins Park into the greatest park in St. Cloud history.
I agree 100%. Stephanie Gilbert, would you like to talk to council about this? We talked a lot about this today. You don't have to, but you have more knowledge on this than any of us. I guess my comment, I've got more comments, I guess, than, you know, when we spoke about this, and I think it's important to keep programs alive for children. You know, that's, we do, obviously, funding is tight. And looking at the map, it does look like there, how many students would you say are actually in the Hopkins Park community?
They can take 42.
No, how many are in the Hopkins Park community that live there? Because we're talking about transporting,
Probably like-
ensuring these kids have a summer camp to go
I
to.
believe like 20 or 17, like right in that quarter mile. I mean, a little bit towards the middle school. I'm aware of a couple out in the Manor, but right there within a quarter mile. I mean, they all
Okay, I
pretty
see
much
one,
walk.
there's one out in Holopole.
I don't have the addresses for.
Okay. No, my concerns is obviously staffing.
Correct.
We got to ensure, and I don't think while it's under construction that we're going to be able to provide the best camp possible out there. And in talking to staff, they don't feel that they can.
Okay.
And I would have to agree with staff and the fact that, you know, if there's a half a dozen or however many kids actually live in that community and can't make it to camp, that we could provide a means to make that happen. And I think we can. I hope we can.
I mean, we can work with some transportation resources.
Okay. And that's while it's under construction, because we hope it to be under construction this summer, correct? And hopefully next year we don't have this problem. You know, I think we
Now, the
get
only
this
other
thing
problem
open.
would be is the cost. I had a meeting with Stephanie today, and at I think it was $25 or $150 a week, they couldn't afford that. I mean, that's why they go to that camp. Also, the same thing with free lunches. There's gonna be issues getting that. These kids rely on that food.
Okay, so it's a reduced amount at the Hopkins camp. It's different
They get,
pricing structure.
right, they don't pay, they fill out a form and they're all financially, I guess, whatever, through the grant program. And that's why they can go there. I guess we get, you know, whether it's disability, social security, food stamps, I don't know the grant, how that works.
Okay.
But
So,
they
We don't
don't
have a
pay for
grant.
it there.
okay, are these are disadvantaged children that are going there
Yes.
at a different rate than what we would charge
There
at
is
this?
no
little-
charge.
at this
It's free. We don't vet the people who attend.
Oh, you
No,
don't? I
we
used to
don't.
fill out a form whenever my kids went, back, and it's been years. But I know I had to fill out a financial affidavit giving all my information when my children went.
Yeah, when we get, there's times when we can have opportunities like CDBG and things like that, which is what I would be looking for transportation if we had to. It would allow us to vet, to ensure that somebody actually needed the financial resources for us to do for transportation, things like that. We've typically been using the CDBG funds for the main camp to help support the field trips,
Okay.
but not at Hopkins. That's the main camp that we've been working with the CDBG every year.
All right, I mean, it's something I definitely want to dive deeper in and try to have a better understanding. This is the first time I've seen the layout of where the children reside. I didn't know that it was I think we spoke about it earlier last year about allowing it to be free during this time, but if it can't function there at all, we got to figure something out.
Mayor, and a comment.
Yes, sir, Councilmember Fletcher.
I just want to say thank you to staff this week. Some of this was brought to my attention, and staff worked really diligently to get a bunch of information over in a short amount of time. And I just wanted to say it's great to work with council on Hopkins and the Hopkins renovation. And thank you to everybody for all the hard work that they do out there for the kids. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Urban.
Sort of on the same conversation, I wanted to look into, like you said, I'd like to do some more research on this, but I would like to look into doing something that's like an income-based program. If families can submit proof that they're a low-income family, then maybe we can use CBDG funds or find funds to help supplement the cost of that. I agree that this camp is very important. We want to keep kids out of trouble and in camp, but I think we need to find a way that where there's some I guess vetting that we could say will supplement the cost for the lower income families, some way to make it where it's fair for all the residents of St. Cloud.
Yeah. Councilmember Paul.
I do like that idea as well, but I also wanted to get clarification. You stated, is Hopkins Park actually a summer camp under the city of St. Cloud? Yes. Okay, so what is the difference between this camp and the main camp? Because I
heard that CDBG funds were used for the main camp only. Why do they not include the Hopkins Park area as well?
I'd have to ask the Parks and Recreation Director to come up and give more information. I just know that previously, when we did the field trips, it was through the main camp. And there was children who couldn't afford to go on the field trips because the parents pay extra. And so CDBG funds was being used because some of the children weren't able to go on the field trips. But I'd have to rely on Ms. Holtcamp for more information.
Because if it's under the same umbrella as City of St. Cloud, then it should be all squared equally, is my thing.
Hi, Stephanie Holcamp, Parks and Recreation Director. So CDBG funding is also for Hopkins Park. So for instance, last year, they fill out a form with an address and it's vetted that way. So Hopkins Park has received some funding for camp. And we plan on, Leslie and I have already, after I met with Stephanie and them earlier this morning, Leslie and I are already working on getting ready to have them fill out the forms to see who qualifies this year.
For the field trips.
Yes, for funding, yep.
So we could use that same vetting for the transportation needs or for
For transfer,
anything else.
or for whatever, yeah, yes.
Deputy Mayor.
I don't want to convolute what we're talking about, but I think we're talking about two separate issues. CDB funds were used for field trips, and Hopkins Park also got that. And with the pleasure of Ms. Paul, we just want it spread upon every park, every recreation to help every kid. So I know we're doing that, but we have to be clear in what CGB funds are for. I've heard they're for field trips, I heard they're for Hopkins Park. I would just like just a straight playing field for every St. Cloud citizen and to find a way to fund all this stuff. And I don't know how, so the pleasure to council, I may ask you, all the camps, and I've had kids and I have grandkids in the camps, and we pay a certain amount of money. We understand that. But I don't want kids not to have that opportunity without the funds. So, Mayor, I'm asking you and council to help us figure out how we take care of every citizen of St. Cloud, and I say citizens, the youth, to be able to enjoy summer camp. Because when I was a kid, that was one of the best things I had was summer camp. So, I yield back to you, Mayor, but I don't think they're not including Hopkins Park. I just think those are funds for field trips and things like that. So we just need to be clear to the citizens of St. Cloud. And Stephanie, I think you're doing a great job. You got a lot of kids. Biggest employment center of the city. I think, is the police bigger than the parks?
I think they are.
It's really close. But being the safest city in the state of Florida, those are two cool things.
Yeah.
We order some good things for the kids and for the parks, and we also are the safest city. So, council, I ask you to how we figure this out, so every kid in St. Cloud can go to camp if they can afford it or not, but we keep it the safest city. That's a big wish and a big ask. I yield back to you, Mayor, and as council, can we figure that out, and city manager? I yield back to you, Mayor. These are two great programs, and I think all kids should have summer camp abilities.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Stephanie, so Hopkins Park is a free camp,
Correct.
okay? But when we do field trips, are they offered to the kids at Hopkins Park as well?
Yes.
Okay, and so the CDBG funds are also used for field trips at Hopkins Park?
Correct.
So when they are used across the board already?
Yes.
That's what we want to make
Yes.
sure.
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, if, I agree with my fellow council members on any applicants, if they are in need and they're disadvantaged, I believe that we should find a way to provide the same services to them at the Civic Center if we can't provide it at Hopkins Park this year while it's under construction. I spoke with the Parks and Rec Director earlier today, and we talked about all the great things and the investments that we put at the Civic Center and that complex, and I think we have heavy staff there, and I think it would be at least in this interim, if we can house it there, and then next year, I think if we have that large facility there, we can have we can attract more kids over there. And then we kind of split the program up into two different. And at the end of the day, this argument may be null and void based on what happens in Tallahassee, where next year we may be having to privatize these programs, you know, because we're gonna have a lot of funds not coming in, so, for the homestead properties, if that happens, so. Just want to make everybody aware that, you know, yeah, we're talking about this now, but it could all change next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We're working on that, trying to figure a way to get partnerships with the city so that we can get funding and Hopkins Heroes help with payments for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, appreciate it. Thank you, Stephanie Gilbert.
So can I get some clarification on the direction for,
Well, I think there's more fact-finding to do. I don't know if there's really direction yet.
okay,
Yeah. I'm gonna look into it myself, and I think the rest of them are as well.
okay,
And then maybe we come back. We've got a workshop next week. Maybe we can talk about it next week.
okay,
We can bring it up.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Would anyone else in the audience like to speak during the citizens forum? All right, thank you. Hi, Jeff. It's good to see you, man. All right, first up, we have public hearings. Would the clerk please read public hearing number 1?
Public hearing for resolution number 2026-010R. A resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending resolution number 2025-098R, which adopted the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget for the City of St. Cloud, finding the city manager has certified there are prior year fund balances and/or current revenues available in the budget for additional projects and programs in various funds not to include the original budget, requiring the budget to be increased to include said additional funds in the various funds and making supplemental appropriations within the funds.
Good evening, Jeff Cooper, Finance Director. This is Budget Amendment Number 2 of fiscal year 25-26. So the city manager has certified funds are available to appropriate for the following projects. The first one being a total of $1 million in revenue from federal grants, public safety from Department of Justice, and $1 million in expenditures for police machinery and equipment, grant funded for police barricades. So that is out of the general fund, fantastic. A total of $38,000 in revenue from state grants, police, FDLE, and $38,000 in expenditures for police operating supplies for 20 rapid ID devices. That is also general fund. A total of $15,000 in prior year fund balance and $25,000 in state grants, police, again FDLE, to fund $40,000 for police machinery and equipment for the purchase of 8 license plate readers. That is also the general fund. A total of $35,000 in prior year fund balance and $35,000 in expenditures for machinery and equipment to replace 2 6-ton HVAC units for temporary Fire Station 32. Don't want our firefighters being super hot this summer, so that is out of the 1% surcharge fund. A total of $4,825,000 from interfund transfer, parks impact fees, and the same amount in expenditures for contractual services to complete project PR 1906, Trail Extension Lake Shore to Chisholm, otherwise known as the Rummel Road Trail. That is the Capital Projects Fund. This is the Parks Impact Fee portion, so $4,825,000 from prior fund balance, and the same amount for interfund transfer to the Capital Projects Fund to complete this project, and that's Parks Impact Fees. A total of $700,000 in revenue from state grants, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and $700,000 in expenditures for machinery and equipment for 2 clam trucks and 1 roll-off truck for the sanitation fund. A total of $70,000 from prior year fund balance and $70,000 in expenditures for professional services to evaluate and update, modify our required landfill monitoring liability. So we have an established liability established through FDEP, and our leachate levels are at such a level that if we get it reevaluated, we can lower that number, and that frees up money for the sanitation fund, basically. And finally, a total of $180,000 from state grants, and this is Resilient Florida, and $180,000 for contractual services, grant funded for a floodplain vulnerability assessment, and this is the stormwater fund. So just special thanks go out to our procurement department, police department, public works, and city manager's office. So if you didn't notice, 5 of the 7 items in this budget amendment are grant funded. They total $1,943,000. And for those that don't know, grants are not free. They come with a lot of administrative burden to get them through the application process, the approval process, the funding process, the monitoring process, reporting, and so forth. So special thanks to those people for these grants. It's always welcome to the finance director. And so staff recommendation is approval of resolution 2026-010R, and we're requesting city council approval of the same. And if you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you, sir. Would anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? And council?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Will the clerk please read item number 2?
Public hearing for resolutions number 2026-003R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, granting a site variance BAR 25-00001 to reduce required open space from approximately plus minus 0.48 acres to plus minus 0.17 acres on the previously approved site development plan on the Highway Business HB zoning district on the plus minus 5.94 acres of land known as Narcousie Commons South, 18-75.04, allowing the open courtyard between Units 1386 and 1388 to act as an outdoor playing space for Adventure World's Kids Child Care Center, described in the body of this resolution.
Well, they give you all a teeny tiny podium now, huh?
Yes.
I gotta look over here for y'all.
Good evening, Council. Tisha Manning, Interim Director for Community Development. The project before you is a site variance for Adventure World Kids. Just a reminder, the conditional use for this project came before you in December and was approved, and this site variance was a condition of that approval. The future land use is commercial, and it's, of course, in the Highway Business Zoning District. And the proposed site variance is reduction of open space between units 1386 and 1388 of a commercial complex. This is just a graphical depiction of the highway business zoning. And the same for the, that's a graphical depiction of the commercial future land use. And this is the depiction of the highway business zoning. This image is an actual as-built survey that shows the correct dimensions, because that was one of the things that came up in the conditional use approval. They did go out and they got a professional survey. So this as-built survey does depict the correct dimensions for the space between those two buildings, in which they have already fenced with the aluminum fencing. It's about 925 square feet, and our land development code requires that they have 45 gross square feet outdoor play area per child. So if you kind of do the math on that, that gives them about 20 children would be able to be in the area. Staff did go through, review all of this, and so staff does recommend approval of this site variance with the following conditions. The approval of the requested site variance does not constitute approval of the provided concept plan, and changes to the site will require approval of a site development plan and any additional approvals by the Land Development Code. Essentially, they need to get a building permit for the fence that they installed. And the second condition is the site variance is for the reduction of open space between units 1386 and 1388, and is valid only while the initial and is only valid while the initial certificate of use remains active. If the certificate of use expires or the business changes ownership, the new operator must apply for a site variance for continued use of that outdoor space. And the requested action is City Council to approve Resolution 202603R with conditions as stated by staff. Staff is available for questions as well as the applicant is available.
Thank you, Tisha. Deputy Mayor?
I've been out to the property. I think our meeting in December, I noticed that there was a fence behind that where there was a pond. So I look at it as escapees when you have children. We own autistic schools. You just don't want them to escape. I think this applicant has demonstrated good faith and put the fences in the right place and has the adequate permission and insurance to do so. And it's a child care center, and the playground is big enough for my visual. But, so it's right on Narcoossee. I think it's so good. I would like the pleasure of the council to look at it, but I think we should approve it because I think it conforms to what our applications and our needs are. And I know there's codes and there's this and that. They've got the kids in a backyard taking care of themselves with gates and employees watching those gates. So did it physically, looked at it, and I think it's okay, but pleasure to the council. I would like to leave it to you. But I think the applicants did their job to conform. I yield back to you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Would the applicant like to speak on this item?
Good evening. I don't have anything to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
But I'm present.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you get her name?
Yeah, can we get your name and address, sir, ma'am?
Nicole Morales, Adventure World Kids, 1388 and 1386 South Narcoossee Road, St. Cloud, 34771.
All right, thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? All right, council.
I also did take a tour of this facility as well too, so I know the applicant has been working hard to ensure she's doing the right thing to make this happen, so I don't have any issues with approving this as well.
Would you like to roll that into a motion?
I will motion to approve
Motion approved, Councilmember Paul.
with the conditions.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher? Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, thank you. And will the clerk please read public hearing number 3?
Public hearing for resolution number 2026-005R, a resolution of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, granting a conditional use for an automobile body work and painting in the I-1 Industrial Zoning District on the plus-minus 1.47 acres known as Emerald Edge Auto Body. Project CNU 25-00006, located at 400 DMI Court, as described in the body of this resolution.
Good evening, council members. Tisha Manning, Interim Director for Community Development. This project before you is for a conditional use for Emerald Edge Auto Body that will be located in the 400 DMI Court. The future land use is employment with the zoning as industrial I-1. The proposed automobile body work and painting, their hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5. They've stated they'll have 3 full-time staff, and it'll be appointment only for the customers. This is the depiction of the industrial future land use and the industrial I-1 zoning. This is actually a depiction of kind of the whole site. So you'll see there are 4 buildings on that site, and this applicant will eventually take over 2 of those buildings. So one of the buildings they will use completely for a shop, and the second building they'll use kind of as their office, a little bit of prep area. Of course, it'll have a bathroom, and then it'll also have a paint booth. Staff is requesting approval of this resolution with the following conditions. Outdoor auto body work and repair shall be prohibited. All work must be completed within the proposed bays or designated interior. 2, outdoor storage of vehicles, parts, supplies, materials, or equipment is prohibited and must be approved by a separate conditional use. 3, all vehicles shall be parked in designated spaces only. No parking is permitted on the grass or in the right-of-way. 4, no reduction in parking shall be permitted. 5, pursuant to the approval of Resolution 2025139R, a legally binding and recorded parking agreement shall be executed by the property owner of DMI Business Park prior to the approval of the conditional use. This agreement shall clearly define the allocation, location, time, and use of parking spaces that will be utilized by the business of the proposed conditional use. And 6, the approval of the requested conditional use does not constitute the approval of the provided concept plan. Changes to the site will require a site development plan and any additional approvals required by the Land Development Code. This project did go to Planning Commission on January 20th and was approved by the Planning Commission with the conditions as stated by staff. Likewise, we're requesting approval of City Council with the conditions as stated by staff. Staff is available if you have any questions, as well as the applicant.
All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to speak on this item?
Mike Riley Jr., representing Emerald Edge Auto Body. Address is going to be 480 DMI Court, St. Cloud. And I'm just here for questions. I have no comments.
All right, thank you, sir. We have Councilmember Urban. I think we got questions.
I have a question for the applicant. It's more a question for the city council is, I'm good with this, by the way, but I was talking with staff earlier, and I always look at things from a business point of view. And even though we're the safest city in Florida, I also want to be the most small business friendly city in Florida. And my question is, it seems a little redundant to have to do a conditional use for a property that's already in an I-1 industrial zoning district. It's just an extra step, extra cost that small businesses have to make. So I would ask council to consider looking into, in the future, maybe just making this a staff level approval or something to make it simpler on small businesses who are trying to do business in our city. That's all I have to say.
I think that would be something we'd have to change the code.
Yeah, it's in the land development code.
That's the land
that way,
development
so
code.
we'd have-
We can do that. It's just, actually, we could just make that, take out as a conditional use and just make I-1 and I-2 almost similar, right?
A permitted use.
As it, yeah.
Yeah, but it would require an LDC change.
Well, that's what I would recommend then, if the council would support me on that.
All right, yep, maybe we can bring that back up. And anybody else? Can I get a 3 to the city manager?
May I have a question to Mr.
Yes.
Riley, please?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
100% agree with jobs. Your family has a very successful rate of creating jobs for people in St. Cloud.
Yep.
And we're very thankful for that. As Kobe said, we want more of these things, and I don't know how you do it, Dan, and how you change it, but we want these kind of businesses in St. Cloud. Where people have cars, we have more cars, people need that stuff. Great reputation of you and your family and your folks. Not saying that, but at the end of the day, you're bringing jobs to St. Cloud. And we really appreciate that. So I
Thank you.
agree with Councilman Urban. I asked the mayor how we.
We just did it.
We do
That's
that?
your 3rd to go ahead and let's work on that.
Is that okay?
That's it.
Is
You
that
gave
cool?
the 3rd as soon as you
Okay.
said you supported that. That's
Thank you, sir.
good.
Thank you. I just wanted to support that, and thank you, Mayor.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Obviously, that has nothing to do with this project. That's something in the future where we have to bring back before code, but right now, we're going to focus on yours. Any other council members have any comments or questions for Mr. Riley? No? All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
All right, anyone in the audience like to speak on this item? All right, can I entertain a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Hang on, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry, we do have somebody. You're right. Jacqueline Odom.
Thank you all for seeing me. My name is Jacqueline Odom. I reside at 617 Bibbin Street in St. Cloud, which is right beyond the project that Mr. Rowley just spoke about. I have one thing to request. When you are improving your property, will you please consider the fact that the residents attached to the property there have had tremendous flooding issues, and everything that is built around us is higher than we are. So if you could please, when you're building or improving your property, consider the fact, create a ditch, retention area, or whatever you need to do, but please protect the property of the residents attached to your property. Thank you so much.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
anybody
Bibbins
has any-
Bibbins is attached to this? Is it?
It's beyond it.
Okay,
if you look
I'm
at
looking
the-
at the
yeah.
aerial right now, just trying to find out what we're referencing. I am familiar with your property. I know there's been past issues with flooding in that area.
Yeah. Excuse my paranoia, but I can't help it. And I think if people.
Oh, I see. You're
I'd
right,
like
you
for
back
them
up to
to know.
Hopkins, correct?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, okay.
Mhm.
But you're not adjacent to this property?
No.
Okay.
Good.
And I think that there was something built on this property in the past. It's been developed, at least it looks like it's had something.
So there's a site plan associated with the new building that's going in, and there will be a stormwater pond as part of that. I don't know what was on this property previously, but I do know that that's a separate application, a different applicant that's been going through. I don't know if do we have an image of the site plan by any chance?
I don't have the site plan with me, but I can tell you I've reviewed it, and there's actually going to be a stormwater pond on the side where Bibbins is. So the stormwater pond is going to be there, and it will also have a 40-foot setback, I believe.
Okay, does Bibbins tie into the
You can see
I'm
the
gonna show
stormwater
you.
east
pond.
boundary of this property, or no, it doesn't look like it?
All I can
You
show you is what
Can
I
you switch back
received.
to the last slide? I see the pond, but Bibbins is south of this property, like where it ties in.
Okay,
Okay, so-
there's Orange Avenue.
Yes, ma'am.
Beyond Orange Avenue is where Mincy and Bibbins are.
Right.
I can't see what you guys are looking at. I'm seeing
I
what
see
I
what you're
got in the
saying.
mail showing me the layout.
Bibbins is on the
So
east.
there's,
So the Bibbins address, that's the one that's north of Bibbins, that one is adjacent to this property.
you're right.
Okay.
It's at the foot.
You just don't want any issues with the water coming
Overflow.
from this
Yes, sir.
property onto any of those properties?
Exactly.
I
That's what
appreciate you
I'm here
sticking up for your whole community. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
And, but that's good. I'm glad to see that the pond is right there and that will capture any rain.
Thank you for hearing me.
Yes,
Thank you so
ma'am. Thank
much.
you very much.
And you do have a motion and a second. Mr.
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. And Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have council action. We have discussion and possible action regarding 4-H exemptions. And so that's going to be either Scott or Veronica or Tisha or
Tisha.
Yeah, so tonight, again, Tisha Manning, Interim Director for Community Development. This is being brought forth because when we annex some properties into the city, they have 4-H exemption. So this is being opened up for discussion and direction from council. So we recently annexed some properties through an encumbrance annexation and discovered that there was a 4-H exemption on one of those properties. So St. Cloud's language compared to Osceola County allows for a 4-H exemption with some requirements of compliance with zoning regulations. Whereas Osceola County, you have a 4-H exemption, you don't have to comply with those zoning regulations. The property coming into the city will be designated an R1B zoning designation. So this is the St. Cloud language, and I started with 8.7, so they're kind of out of order, that speaks specifically about the exemption. And the part that is of concern is where it says, provided that the activity is consistent with the requirements established in Section 8.6 for animals in the agricultural district below, and proof of 4-H or Future Farmers of America registration. So now if we go to Section 8.6, it speaks about agriculturally zoned properties, and then it specifically talks about the property has to be a minimum of ½ acre with 25 feet setbacks from the property lines. Now, Osceola County does have those same requirements without a 4-H exemption. So once you have the 4-H exemption through Osceola County, they do not require that you meet any of the zoning regulation requirements. And this is the Osceola County Code that speaks about the 4-H exemptions. And you will see where it says they're not subject to the requirements or limitations herein. So everything prior to this Section G of Osceola County Code that has the setback requirements, that has the maximum number of 6 chickens, and all of those things goes away with the exemption in Osceola County, and that is not the case in the city because we still ask that they comply with some of the zoning regulations. So staff makes a recommendation to update our land development code that specifically states upon annexation of property owners with a current 4-H exemption in the county at the time of annexation be allowed to continue the program and keep said animals until the expiration of the current program, provided that the 4-H exemption or Future Farmers of America registration participation can be provided upon request. I've had a lot of conversations with Jessica Sullivan and Jessica Sprain at the agricultural buildings. And so what I've learned is a lot about 4-H. So they have some programs that expire at August 31st. They start September 1st, they expire August 31st of the following year. The animals in some of those programs don't get sold at markets and the animals don't go away. So the participants retain those animals. So that is a concern, as if you're one of the 4-H programs in which your animals don't go to fairs and markets, at the end of your program, what will you do with your animals? Another situation is because some of the animals do go to market and they do get sold, so then those animals won't be retained by the actual property owners. So those are some of the things that I discovered. We do have a program in the city, which is the chicken keeping program. Osceola County, the Agriculture Center, they do not have a minimum requirement on the number of animals to participate in the program. So even if you had 1 or 2 animals, you could still participate. But they also allow 4-H exemptions for goats, pigs, cattle, different things. So people that may have that 4-H exemption that participate in those programs that are now living in the urban areas may have those animals as well if we annex them from the county.
All right, Tisha, you're saying that your recommendation, though, that there's some where it doesn't kind of fit with some of these kids?
It may not, correct.
Well, hold on one second. So I'm sorry. So if they didn't, for instance, the poultry, the husbandry program where they're, it doesn't end at the end of the school year, they could stay in the program and continue registering in the program.
Yes.
And they would still be able to provide a certificate that they were active in the 4-H program. So our recommendation is still the same. It's, I think the point she's making is some programs will end at the time of the animal being sold at the fair, being sold, and some of the programs, they would have to continue registering so that they could prove that they had active participation in the program.
Okay, so we will still, but I don't see that language in there. Is there?
The proof of the participation can be provided upon request.
Is it the same program? Well, because if the KVLS season is over and they still have their animal, it's not really the same program. They still have their animal, but what do they provide?
So it would still be the same program. So even though the season is over for the KVLS, they still maintain or retain those animals. So they just re-register for the program it's kind of hard to explain it, but they don't necessarily re-register for the program. Their program continues because they can do other things other than just the KVLS. So they can do husbandry, they can do showing the like they loan them out and go to other clubs and different things like that with the same animal.
Okay, yeah, I just, that term program, I was applying it to the KVOS event. Deputy Mayor Gilbert, before you, let's ask Jessica Sullivan to come up here since Tisha referenced her already, and she's got a form here. She's the leading expert in chickens, from what I understand.
She most definitely is.
She teaches our backyard chicken program for us.
I saw her in the audience. Yes.
So,
All right, so what are your thoughts on this? Well, you filled out a form, so let's hear it. Let me
Can
hear
we just
what
have
you-
her state her name on the record?
Yeah, can we get your
Most
name and
of-
address for the record, please?
yeah, Jessica Sullivan, 714 Kentucky Avenue here in
Yes.
St. Cloud.
Thank you.
So we were concerned about a few points with the whole thing, and one of them was the issue you just talked about, where the language is a little unclear. It says at the end of the initial 4-H program, and if that should be interpreted by city officials to mean the end of the program year or the end of that
Animal?
animal cycle, then that particular member would not have the option to procure another animal. So end of 4-H program for them, with that type of animal, so that would end okay. And then also, if they intend to keep their animals, like a flock of chickens or rabbits or other, small animals, then the intent is never to get rid of that animal at the end of that program year. So does that mean the city is intending to prevent them from having those animals after the initial 4-H program? That was
Well, I
the
believe
language
we
that was
still
a little
allow chickens.
confusing.
And we still allow rabbits, and we still, so I guess it's based on a number that's allowed. And I know that we had a number of people from the agricultural community help write this ordinance or provide input on it. So how many chickens are they still allowed to have? So if they don't sell their chicken and they keep it, let's just talk about chickens for a second, because that seems to be the animal of, conversation. How many chickens can they have in the city?
6, a maximum of 6.
Okay, would that fit any of these programs that the kids are in? I mean, how many
They
chickens?
could certainly still participate as 4-H members with 6 chickens, but if they had more, if they had, a breeding program or something, then,
Okay.
you're putting an end to that.
Okay, so as long as they're in the breeding program, how many chickens are in a
There's no-
single-family subdivision? I can see where it can get a little out of control if they've got, 150 chickens in a, quarter-acre lot.
Yeah.
I think that might be an issue in a community, but,
Our suggestion for, smaller lots would be a maximum of 30 chickens.
30 chickens in a single-family neighborhood. Okay, I think that's a lot. I don't know. All right. And that's in an existing, how many kids are currently in a program like that in Osceola County? let's just say,
So we
in
have
the St. Cloud area. What are we looking?
242 4-H youth enrolled right now in the current program year that are in the areas immediately outside of the city of St. Cloud. In those zip codes.
242? They have that many chickens?
No.
Oh.
No, we don't keep
What
track
do
of
we-
their, we don't keep track of their
Yeah, let's talk about
animals.
chickens. Because I think that's really you're gonna have 30 goats on a quarter acre, obviously. But chickens, you can pack them in, and that's where they'll have these programs that we don't know about. Is, I know in one subdivision we annexed in on Neptune, that's kind of what kind of brought this conversation to light.
Our suggestion for the limitation of animals is based on the amount of space that particular property has to accommodate them on a per animal basis. So like for chickens, for example, 4 square feet per standard size chicken for, outdoor space plus, a appropriate roosting space. And if that property can't accommodate that, then, then no. The answer is no.
Okay. Do you know how many we have in our, about with
No, I
chickens
don't
of
know.
that magnitude, of that
I don't
size
know.
of population?
Mm.
Mr. McConaughey, what do you think? No, I'll just, if you want to give your input on it, I know you, can you come up here for a second? You have, Mr. McConaughey ran a feed store in this community for many, many years.
You're not just talking about chickens.
Can I get your name and address for the record?
Mr.
Yeah.
McConaughey.
Oh, I know, and I'm just going on chicken because that's what can really create an issue in a community, which there is one that we're trying to sort through. Have you
Address?
seen this in single-family subdivision, like your customers in the past when?
If families are raising animals, we're talking about hogs. In fact, my granddaughter won grand champion last year in steer. But if they're raising animals, when that animal's gone, does that mean next year the same family that lives in the same place can't do another one? That program is done with that one
Correct.
animal. And they've lived there for a long time, and they want to do it again next year, which is wonderful for the kids. A lot of kids need to do that. Does that mean they can't start the next program the next year? I see a problem with that because they were there. Who was there first?
Yeah, and I think when Heath and JJ and Matt were on that committee, I think they addressed a lot of those.
Chickens are a minor
concerns,
thing.
right?
We've got
Yeah.
hogs, we've got steers.
Yeah, oh, I was gonna go one by one and kind of figure
Yeah.
out where the
Yeah.
problem, where we come into these issues when it comes to this.
Because if you bring them into the city and then cut them off next year, that's the wrong, you're going down the wrong road.
Absolutely. No, and
that's
that's
just my
where,
opinion.
city manager,
Yeah.
where's, do we have the ordinance at hand, on hand about what was passed with Matt and JJ and all them, the recommendations?
I can pull it up, Tisha, unless you have it faster.
Because they had a committee
Uh-huh.
prior to me. And I know one of the gentlemen on there had attended one of our meetings a few meetings ago, actually. It wasn't long ago when this issue came up. And he said, we need to stick to this, what's already been on the books. And that's what I need to look and see, how that does affect hogs. Obviously, if they've got an acre in the county that allows it, how does that translate into the city?
And these hogs aren't running loose. They're in pens. You can raise a nice hog in a 10 by 10 elevated pen and be cleaner than a lot of other stuff that's in the city. But I just hate to see them get cut off the next year because of this being annexed into the city. That was my concern, sitting back there and listening.
Yeah.
This-
And this isn't taking anything away that's already there on the books before I got here.
Mhm.
This is, so I only understand what comes forward, and I'm seeing the words on the screen. What this is doing is actually allowing them to keep it where it's not allowed already in the city code. So this is giving an exception to the kids who are continuing the program, as long as they are in that program.
But one program stops when that animal goes.
And that's.
Will they be prohibited from getting the next steer for the next year? That's the problem I see. Okay, you're in the city now, you can't do that anymore. And we're going down the wrong road in this town. That's just my opinion.
Well, that was before me, Richard. I didn't pass that one.
I know, and I know you're one person among many.
Yeah,
but,
and that's what we're trying to figure out, what,
we've got to remember where the city came from and try to preserve some of it.
I agree 100%.
And I'll be quiet now and sit down.
No, I asked you.
Thank you.
That's all right. Thanks, Richard. Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Sir?
Richard.
Richard?
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess Deputy Mayor's got a question for you.
You're right on. You're right on. And I don't know as much as Kobe and Chris and Jen that grew up in the city, but that's what our city's about.
I've been here 60 years.
Right, and as we grow, that's what our city's about. And what we don't want to do is we annex and we welcome people into our city, which is the safest city in Florida. We got the greatest fire chief, but we don't want to punish Osceola County to come in the city. We want to tell them how great we are. We want to tell them what services we have. But we don't want to punish them for them become members of our
Right.
city. So I don't know. I'm, again, everyone will tell you I'm from Detroit. I've only been here 36 years. I have 5 kids that born and raised here, and 8 kids, grandkids. But this is the city I love. And part of the cities are cows, our pigs, our chickens, our horses. So I don't have that answer, but I don't want to reject somebody coming into our city and saying, you could do this in the county, because we have great ag, but then you come in and you're punished. So I don't have the answers, but I know Chris has been here his whole life, Kobe and Jen. Let's find a solution to bridge that gap, to keep the city, Soldier City, Chris.
Well, and that was prior to me, and that's
Right.
why I
know it's
brought
all
this
prior,
up.
But we have to,
Yeah.
it's
Well-
our shoulders now, right?
Well, whatever was passed prior to me, we'll have to address it, because that's not what we're talking about tonight. What we're talking about tonight is actually allowing more.
Right.
What we can talk about in the future is how it, because I'll have to go dig deep into work in the past
Okay.
as to when, I don't know if you were on council at the time, but it was a few years ago, where we had members of the agricultural community come in on a committee, help staff write a code, they created the code, and they still stand by that code, the agricultural community. So I want to look at that. I want to look at what's going on in the county, look at the city. JJ, Heath, Matt, I mean, that group, they stand by what they worked on. So I don't know if you've spoken with them or looked at their
I
code.
talked to Matt today,
Yeah,
actually.
and they're proud of that. And what I'm telling you, Mayor, is how do we adapt bringing these people in the city and allowing them to be, not punishing them to become.
That's what we're doing right now. That's what this is.
And that's
On
why,
this-
that's why I'm
and-
asking
and
council. I
and
don't
this
have
is
that
on-
answer.
On this particular, obviously, this chickens, I think this is really what kind of brought this up was, there was a subdivision that was annexed in. And I don't know if they were in accordance with the county code, with the 4-H exemptions. I don't have all those particulars. I know we annexed them in, and whatever the amount of chickens they had, it wasn't in compliance with the code that was, like I said, passed before I even got here. So I'm kind of digging deep, going backwards, trying to figure out how we do this, and staff's worked on this, and I'm gonna let the city manager chime in on this one.
I found this section of the code that you were asking about, so I think I might be able to answer your question. Specifically for small animals, and this is where, so weighing less than 40 pounds and mature, this is the agricultural section that the agricultural community drafted a couple of years ago, that they made the special committee. And just so everybody knows, that was because we were moving forward to annex some properties that had agricultural zoning in the county, and we were trying to preserve their uses, trying to, respect our heritage and bring them into the city. So that was why we worked on this land development code with them. There was a veterinarian that was on the committee and multiple property owners. So for small animals weighing less than 40 pounds at mature weight, including but not limited to chickens, rabbits, birds, and fowl, properties shall be limited to a total of 20 per acre with a minimum half-acre property, and any structure for housing the animals shall be a minimum 25 feet from the property line. So the problems that we're having, if we talk about chickens and the properties that we just annexed, the lot that has these chickens it's not a minimum half acre, and it does not have the minimum 25 feet from the property line. So that's where the conflict is, where we're trying to find a way to allow them to continue, but also be respectful, because a lot of this also came up due to complaints from the neighbors because of the setbacks, distance of the setback.
And I'm not concerned about adults with their chickens. I'm concerned about these kids. And it's an insanely good program for these kids. You don't know what all work goes into this. We don't want them cut off.
Oh, yeah. I
because of-
participated in those programs,
Because of
so, yeah, I definitely
annexation
know.
and growth.
Yeah,
That's-
100%.
I'll leave it
And
at that.
it's this is a very rare issue. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a widespread issue that we're annexing in and kids are having to sell off their animals. This is a one out of how many lots? 2,000 lots, I think we just annexed in?
Yes.
One.
And
On a half acre with how many chickens? And nothing.
I'm not sure how many. Yeah.
And it's.
Oh, it was
four
20
deep?
per acre. But this solution would allow that family to keep the chickens that
Yes.
they have, as long as they stay registered in the 4-H husbandry program, right? As long as they're currently registered in it, then they would be able to continue that program. I understand Ms. Sullivan was concerned about the language, so maybe it just says.
Yeah, can I ask Jessica one more time to come back up here? So, thank you, Richard, appreciate you, sir, and all of your knowledge. what is your position over there at us?
I'm
is
an
it the
agriculture
extension-
agent, so
The extension
I-
office?
Yeah, I'm an agriculture agent, so I work
Okay.
with
So if
animals
we,
and plants.
if we have somebody that annexes in.
And there will be a lot more
Right.
as you work your way towards the manor.
But no, that's really not the area that we're really focused on. These are, right
But
now,
your ordinance
we're
now would
foc-
apply
right.
to a lot of.
But that
lot
was
of folks.
2014 when that was created. We're talking about, how we are actually, if you've paid attention to how we've been annexing, these are encumbered properties, most of them, where the developer, before they developed, they turned them into subdivisions, which are not, they went outside the agricultural realm. But we still, I think prior to that, they didn't allow all these chickens. I think going back 4 or 5 years ago, it was outlawed. So I think the councils have passed, I think they've kind of addressed that issue to allow chickens to come into subdivisions that have already been approved to be developed. But my question is, your position, you can certify, so say we annex a subdivision and a child in, say one on Narcousie Road, some subdivision that gets it annexed in, has 25 chickens. The end of the fair's over. They can come to the extension office and get a document that can be presented to us, to the city, to say they are still in the program.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Okay.
furthermore.
That's what I'm saying, is who verifies that?
Yeah.
How do we?
We do.
You
Yeah,
do? You
the
can.
Osceola County Extension. And then furthermore, as a service to the city and 4-H members, we will go and personally look at, the animal welfare and care and management of any particular property if it's, in question, and, verify that those animals are being taken care of, that they have appropriate space and housing and all of that. So, I mean, we're willing to go the extra mile to, back up and make sure that our members are, in accordance with proper management practices.
Okay. So if somebody had a goat, which most subdivisions probably wouldn't allow a goat in their subdivision. I mean, I don't know how many goats are
Right.
in Sawgrass or one of those subdivisions. But let's just say there is one. So if the market animal is sold, then they're not in the program anymore, right? Is that something that,
They would potentially re-enroll if they're, under 18, then they would re-enroll in 4-H.
Okay.
And then they could procure another animal for the
Yes.
next season.
and I would be okay with that if it's already allowed. And that's, but I don't know that many of these subdivisions
And
allow that already.
That's our concern, is not to try to open up a whole bunch more doors, but when people are being transitioned into the city and voluntarily annexed into the city, and they already have those animals, that's kind of the first issue that we'd like to kind of address, is how can we all work together to make sure that they don't just have to get rid of animals if they would otherwise be keeping those animals, and that they can continue in the 4-H program. And, also for future consideration, look at how can animals live in the city and still be compatible. Now, HOAs control HOAs, but when there are those rare properties that, you're annexing in that may be residential, but still they have been allowed by the county to have property or have animals on their property, if those animals' welfare and health and well-being and space is all appropriate, then, our concern is, okay, then why are you telling them they can't do it,
Well, I don't think anybody
for that
has. I don't think anybody
particular
has yet.
family?
I don't think in fact, we haven't. We've held off on all that. That's why we're working to find a way to still allow it and work through this transition. I don't believe that, if there's a subdivision that we annex in, very rarely, since I've been on council, do we annex somebody in involuntarily that's not in a subdivision. I don't know how many we've done, maybe a handful, if that, to connect subdivisions.
An actual involuntary
Yeah.
annexation in
No.
my
Okay,
entire 20.
non-subdivision.
You're talking about a non-subdivision.
A non-subdivision.
There haven't been a lot of those. There may
All
have
right,
been some
out of-
small enclave.
And we
ones.
just annexed in over 2,000 lots, and not one of
Mm-hmm.
them that I can recall. I mean, there may be a handful on the north side of Neptune. Do we do any of those?
This is the only, we've only had one lot with the current issue of a 4-H exemption wanting to be honored in the city limits, if that's what you're asking.
And that's in a subdivision with no HOA.
Correct.
And that's, so most of the time, HOAs may have rules already in place.
Exactly.
So we can't say, yes, they can do it if they
Correct.
don't comply with the HOA
Correct.
rules. And so that's where,
Yeah.
if they're already doing it, they need to make sure they're in compliance already.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's all on
And
you
so
too.
those aren't the cases we're addressing. Like, if they can't have it because of their HOA, then that's
But
on
who-
them.
But
you
who
know,
checks that? Are you gonna verify that before you give a certification that they're in the program legally? That's gotta go on y'all then, if.
I mean, we can.
Yeah, because if they're gonna say that they're in a subdivision and they want certification, then, and they show you where they live, their HOA, you know. That's a lot of staff work, I think, to verify. They should be acting in accordance with their HOA already. I mean, that'd be an
Yes.
accurate statement. I'm in favor, even if they sell their goat, and they're on a piece of property, and they get annexed in, and they're legally allowed to have it already in the county, then I think they could stay, if we'll call it, in the program and get another goat, as long as they continue through the agricultural program, the FFA, the 4-H, I think they're still technically in the program.
So the two potential conflicts with allowing that would be the mention in the existing code that specifically goes back to that 1/2 acre.
Well, and that's where.
And then also the part where it says the initial 4-H program will be required to comply. So if that's going to be interpreted by city as,
They're not complying with the 4-H program now?
no, the language in your existing,
Can I help you?
yes.
She's concerned that the agricultural requirements would still apply, but the way the code is written, the 4-H exemption exempts them from those
It doesn't.
agricultural. It does, because it's the section 8.6.
It says as long as they comply with, help me, Tisha. It says as long as they comply with, so it goes back to that 1/2 acre.
Right, and so I think what your concern is at the end of how the city interprets the initial program that the people are participating in, when that program ends, then they would have to comply with the land development code provisions that are currently in place. So the language on the screen actually gives them the way you read it gives them an exemption to comply with the land development code provisions related to animals as long as they're in the program. That's how that would work.
But they can stay in the program if they recertify through the 4-H, the extension office, right?
well,
This
yeah.
allows them to do that?
We understand, we don't do the certification.
I would like the wording to be a little more clear so that it's not misinterpreted.
Right, and that's why I asked the
Yeah.
question about what's
Yeah.
technically the end of the
And
program,
then-
because I've raised animals through KVOS, and the end of the program is the end of that year.
Yeah.
But if they come to you, if we're gonna call the end of the program where they no longer get a
When they're
certification
18,
through
that's the
you-
end of the program,
Right.
when that child is 18.
Okay, well, that's if they if they don't discontinue, like, so say if they don't get recertified through you, then that would be the end of the program, right, for their exemption.
Yeah, we don't like certify anybody, but we're more than willing to verify and write a letter and
Yeah.
check out. But correct me if I'm wrong, Tisha, what it currently reads that is not being proposed to be changed is that they don't have an exemption, 4-H does not have an exemption if they are not already on a 1/2 acre lot, is that correct?
No.
Yes, correct. That's the way it is. But this proposal is what we're saying is, and it's exactly as the mayor is stating, if they continue to be enrolled in the program, then they continue with their exemption, and this exempts them from the compliance with 8.6. But I also understand what you're saying, when you're saying the way this is written, maybe we just need to, and city manager, and of course, city attorney can chime in. I think what she's saying is to have language that says, unless you continue your enrollment in a program. I think that's what she's trying to convey.
As long as there's continuous enrollment in 4-H. yeah.
So I think that's definitely a question that staff needs direction from, and I think it's been said a few times, I think before we bring back a final, I just would like clear consensus. The way this was written, once your program was done, you couldn't necessarily re-register in another one, right? So, but I think what I was hearing was you sold your hog, you guys are okay that the next,
I
that
would
they
allow
move
them to
forward with the
continue.
goat.
Yeah, because these kids, they do it not just one time. They start when they're elementary school, they work their way up. You know, sometimes it starts with a goat, then it moves on to a hog. If it's allowed in their subdivision, which they would have to be allowed in their subdivision, we can't just say everybody can have it. If it's not allowed in their HOA, you know,
That's a
obviously
different
that would
matter,
be a
yeah.
whole different issue.
So then it would be, what you could just have at the time of annexation be allowed to continue the program, provided that proof of 4-H exemption. So you could remove and keep said animals until the expiration of the current program.
Yeah, and I think to make that easier, if even 4-H, if they would come to the table and say, look, we'll you know, verify that this child is still enrolled in 4-H and.
Yeah, we're here. We're verifying
Are you in
that.
are you
Yeah,
around 4-H?
I'm speaking for all of the extension agents on the 4-H program in this capacity, so yes, that's been determined. We're more than willing to write that letter and to do an on-site verification if the city would like that.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
So.
I'm okay with what she's saying, until 18 with the program, to allow them to still have their animals year after year after year, as that they're still in the program, right?
I saw
Not,
two.
not just waiting for the animal to either get slaughtered or pass away naturally, but, you know.
Right.
I saw two nods looking.
I'm gonna let Deputy Mayor Gilbert speak now, since we've already kind of gone back and
Just one
forth.
clarification, Mayor. We talked about homeowners associations. They don't change when they go from the county to the city. So
Correct.
we're not doing anything from homeowners associations that are in the county and then come over to us. That's the same entity. What we're doing is passing that, and we talked about homeowners associations. Well, if they're not allowed in the county, I truly don't think they're allowed in the city. So Dan clarified that the homeowners, when we annex, that they have the same jurisdiction, correct?
Right, so remember that homeowners associations, deeds, covenants, and restrictions are essentially, they're different than ordinances or laws. They are contractual obligation when you buy your property to your homeowners. So it doesn't matter what the city does, in most instances, what laws or ordinance you pass, you could pass a code that says chickens could be on every property in the city. If the homeowners association, the deeds, covenants, and restrictions prohibit those animals, the people living there can't have them, right?
Those are rules on top of ours.
On top of ours, exactly. But what I was gonna suggest is, what you're really talking about right now is allowing folks that are annexed into the city who had basically approvals, entitlements, let's call them that, with regard to animals in the county, to continue that, right? So what you're basically doing is you're basically establishing what's referred to as a non-conforming use. So you're basically saying that these homes, these people that come in that have been in these programs, who are allowed to operate in these programs, again, as Ms. Sullivan pointed out, we assume that their homeowners associations either don't prohibit it or are okay with it, whatever, so they're allowed to operate. But now they're gonna come in the city and they're gonna have a non-conforming status. The reason why that's important, and I think this is how we can move forward with this, is we can write that in, but with typical non-conforming status, you put certain restrictions on them. In other words, the use can't be abandoned. So in lieu of maybe saying, we're gonna say to the end of the program, maybe we put in there that if there's no verified 4-H confirmation on the property for a period of a couple of years, maybe the use would be abandoned, right? So that would allow families with multiple children to continue to participate in the program. You also could put restrictions on it that limit it to the existing property owner. So if they sell their property, the non-conforming status would be, the new owner of the property couldn't simply come in and say, okay, I bought the house from somebody who had the 4-H program for the last 15 years, and now my kids get to be in the 4-H program too. And, get to be in the 4-H program on our property here. So we could put those kind of restrictions in, which I think would allow at least some control, but would provide ability
Well,
to continue.
I think as long as there's 4-H, as long as somebody is in there from that household. So if you've got say a brother that's in the 4-H program, that's in 5th grade, but the 4th grader wants to do it because the 5th grader's in there, now we've annexed them in. I think as long as it's allowed on that property, we allow that child, to allow that activity, 4-H activity. The moment that 4-H activity is discontinued, then that's a different.
Right, and that's basically how you apply, how we interpret non-conforming uses. You get to keep it for as long as you use it.
Okay, but it shouldn't just be on that one child. I think then.
We do it by we would do it by.
On the property. Okay.
That makes sense.
Is that comfortable? Is that fair?
Is that kind of-
It is a very difficult conversation to have because I grew up on 6 acres and we had animals and my parents, where they're at, they're most likely gonna be annexed into the city in the next few years, maybe even this year. And so everybody, in this community, which used to be a heavily agricultural community, they have those fears that they're not allowed to do what they were doing in the county. And I want to make sure that they still have that ability. And obviously, these subdivisions where, I've never put that many chickens on a small house. I haven't lived in a subdivision like that. But, we always had larger properties. So it's a very unique situation. I think it's not something we're going to encounter all the time, but we do want to make sure that those residents are protected as well. So thank you for speaking up for them to ensure that they are protected.
Thank you for working with us and listening.
Absolutely, thank you. And I'm going to go back and look at the full ordinance with, that committee created or worked on with staff, and see how that applies to other properties and other animals. And, because, I don't think there's going to be a steer on a half-acre piece of property in, Covington Estates or.
It's unlikely. You probably won't have to address it.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jessica, for helping us with this.
So we have a consensus? Are we okay with sort of working through bringing back an ordinance that kind of has what Guy suggested, a non-conforming status for these properties, and get them moved forward as long as they continue to participate? Someone on the property continues to participate in the program?
That's good for me, yeah.
Are those three?
Does that sound good?
We will have to take I'll tell you right now.
And please come back when we do
we're
bring this forward. Obviously, we can fine tune it during that meeting as
So
well.
the process, so everybody knows, is we have to draft a revised ordinance. It is a land development code provision, so it'll have to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then it'll have to come in front of the council for first reading and then final adoption. So it's not gonna be at the next meeting. It's probably not gonna be at the April meeting, but we'll work through it.
Thank you. Yeah, and thank you, Richard. Obviously, with that feed store, I know you sold feed to a lot of students and a lot of kids out there in the, not just the feed, but everything that came along with it. So you heard all the stories as well. So you probably bought a few. You probably still do. All right, any other comments regarding, yes, we do have one more from the audience. Rachel Fernandez.
Good evening, I'm Rachel Fernandez. I'm a UF IFAS extension agent. I'm the livestock and forages. I do have a big chunk of 4-H on my appointment, so I do get to work with the market animals. And the kids, our address is 1921 Kissimmee Lane, Kissimmee, Florida, 34744. And I just want to piggyback on that. It's, yes, there's a lot of kids. The majority are on larger properties, but also I like to comment on the kids that are in the subdivisions, as long as their HOA is okay with it. These kids, they learn so much from just raising, let's say, a chicken. And you can have a good amount of chickens in a backyard and it doesn't bother anybody. They're happy, healthy. There's no animal welfare issues. So that's, I think, is a good point of making sure that that 4-H exemption counts to those kids as well. And also wanted to say, I would like to commend the city of St. Cloud for their support in urban agriculture initiatives that allow for people to raise their own food and animals, such as community gardens and the backyard chicken keeping program. As our city grows, agricultural programs encourage resilience communities in which our residents can be more self-sufficient, have opportunities to interact with the natural world, stay active, and improve their diets through growing their own healthy foods. Please consider expanding youth participation in your programs by allowing for reasonable continuation for responsible animal keeping in annexed properties. And I would personally be more than happy to go to properties, and just like Jessica was saying, we do have a background in helping with that kind of thing, so we're more than happy to go to properties, and if you guys need us to go and make sure that this kid is still in 4-H and the animals are happy and healthy and there's no animal welfare issues, more than happy to participate and help with that as the new agent here in the county.
Yes, thank you very much for all your help. Yep, I'll be out there this Saturday and the following Saturday helping those kids sell off their animals and their trees and the goats, pigs, steer, and trees, so. Last year I even bought one, still eating on it. All right, anybody else, anyone else in the audience would like to speak on this item? Yes, ma'am. And can we get your name and address for the record, please?
Hello, council. My name is Millie Gonzalez. The address is 2140 Emperor Drive.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the chicken lady, obviously, we all know. I have a question about the space where it says you have to be 25 feet from the property line in the code, but in the backyard chicken keeping program description, it says 5 feet from the property line and 25 feet from residential structures, which that's how mine is. Maybe like 2 or 3 feet from my property line, but I know that this might be a problem, so.
Is there a conflict in the code that we know of?
So the 25 feet was the agricultural zoning, which the 4-H exemption is we're not gonna have to worry about the 25.
Yeah, if you go on this path, those setbacks won't apply.
Okay, I'm just asking,
Good.
because I know it's gonna be an issue later on.
Okay, thank you, Millie.
Any questions about the chickens or anything?
No? Thank you, Scott. All right, anyone else in the audience like to speak on this item? And council, any other discussion? All right, thank you. And we're going to go ahead and move on. Discussion and possible action regarding appointments to boards and committees. Sorry, Madam Clerk, I took your council action number 2. Hi, Scott. You don't like that podium?
Strange to go back and
You got
forth.
us looking all over.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Scott Davidoff, Deputy City Manager. What would like to do this evening to make the process a little bit smoother, to make sure that we're keeping track of everyone as cleanly as possible as we go through these. Council, you should have in front of you, you were all given and mailed an updated one, and I believe there was one placed on the dais for everyone, the committee board appointment action sheet. So what this does is this lists all of the boards and the vacancies as part of each of those boards, showing as well what council has previously requested, which are those members who have requested reappointment. So you can see those, as well as noting if there were any alternates who had requested reappointment when there is a vacancy as a full voting member. So what I'd like to do then is go through these with each one. Obviously, the intent would be to have one motion at the end for the slate, and then we can go through it at that point. So we would start with the CRA, the Community Redevelopment Agency. And right now, there is one vacancy for that for seat 6.
All right, can I get a motion on an applicant for the CRA?
Is there any alternates, Mayor, at that position at the?
There's no such thing, not on community redevelopment. That's the 5 council members and 2 members.
citizens.
2 members, so there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any applications for this
Yeah,
position?
I've been approached by Jeff Perry on this one. I'll make a motion on Jeff Perry
I'll
for the
second it.
CRA. All right, we have a motion for Jeff Perry and a second from Deputy Mayor Gilbert. Do we call the roll on each one?
We were going to do it at the end.
We're gonna do it at the end.
All right.
Correct.
So how do we say yay or nay on these people during each step of the way?
So if we could, so it may be easier just to take a motion on each board.
I
and then
think we're
move
gonna
on.
have to for
I think
each
that since
individual board.
It'd be easier to keep track of. So you've
All
got a
right.
motion and
We
a
have a
second.
motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Fletcher? Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, the next board in front of you.
So we'll make a motion on each board.
Yes, sir.
So we'll do the slate and then make a motion. Is
So,
that-
yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Because
sir.
we can all kind of, are we okay with this person, that person, all the way through, and then we vote on the slate? And
Yes.
I think we did that kind of last year.
Correct. So the next board in front of you is the Planning Commission. On this board right now, there are a number of vacancies. There's a total of 5 vacancies. Of those vacancies, seat 1, Philip Lantry, has requested reappointment. Seat 3, Russell Alexander, has requested reappointment. And the alternate 2, which is Megan Marshall, has requested reappointment. And this is the one I did want to point out, that there is the opportunity, if council so desires, to move an alternate into a full voting space.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something about that. Last year, there was a little snafu there. She graciously agreed to stay on as an alternate, even though she was on as a permanent, a voting member. So I would like for her to move up to that, one of those vacant positions for a voting member seat, not an alternate seat this time.
Mayor, may I ask if this is in other committees that somebody's as committed as this person was to be an alternate? Could they be our first consideration for when a position's open? Because she graciously continued as the alternate and now is getting appointed, and I think she deserves it. But would that be appropriate for every committee, Mayor and
I think we
council?
do it on a case by case. I think that's, you can speak up for one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
I
it's,
just
uh,
think an alternate that stays with it and works with it, that they should be considered.
Oh, yeah, you can put that into consideration when you request that somebody.
Council, you guys,
So-
we good?
On Megan Marshall for,
Yeah, I mean, as a general practice, I'd like to move, if there's a vacancy on a regular seat, I'd move up an alternate to that, and I do agree with moving up Megan Marshall into a regular board seat on this.
all right, so we got Megan Marshall.
I would like to see Philip Lantry and a vacant.
All right, I would agree with that. So we got Philip, he's going to stay on as a voting member, correct? Yes.
I'd also renominate Russell Alexander.
And Russell. So those are the 3. Are we good with all those 3? Those 3? Those are the 3 voting members, Russell, Phil, and Megan. Now we have 2 vacant alternates. I see Teresa Doherty as a second choice, but I don't see her as a first choice on any other committee. Does that mean she did not select a first choice on any?
It's whatever you have, it's whatever, how you have it in front of you.
It doesn't, like they just leave a first choice blank? How does that work?
That's how she filled it out.
Okay.
There's a number of those
Yeah.
that were submitted that way, yes, sir.
Okay. So she'd rather not for the first choice? Anything? No, but I think Teresa would be great as an alternate. What do y'all think? Okay. I know she had expressed interest last year, and I think missed the application process. I think there was something.
Yes, she did.
Is that what it was? Okay. Sometimes I can't remember a year ago, but I do this time. All right, the other alternate seat, anybody have any?
Maybe to Amit Patel. I mean, he's next.
Yeah, Amit Patel? Yep, all right. I'll put Amit Patel. All right, there's our slate. We got Megan Marshall, Phil Lantry, Russell as filling the vacant seats 1, 2, and 3, and then the two alternates, Teresa Doherty and Amit Patel. Can I get a motion on this slate?
Motion approved.
Motion approved. Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher? Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, the next committee is the Recreation Advisory Committee. There is a vacancy in alternate 1. Christina Jones is requesting reappointment, and then a vacancy for alternate 2.
Recreation Advisory, we have 2 alternates. The other seats are already filled?
Yes, sir.
They're not expired?
Correct.
Okay, so just 2 alternate seats.
Yes, sir.
Well, we had Ariel up here today. What do you guys think? He did the invocation for the Recreation Advisory Committee.
Yeah.
And I know he's gone through the Citizens Program Academy. Yes, thank you. All right. And alternate number 2.
Am I reading this correctly? The person that requested reappointment went to 0 of 1 meetings?
There was only
was
one
that? I'm
meeting.
sorry. Oh, you're looking at the other
and
sheet.
did not attend that one meeting that they have had since then.
I would nominate the reappointment for that.
Okay. Christina Jones?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so to fill the alternate 1 is Ariel Sanabria, and the alternate 2, Christina Jones. Can I get a motion on that slate?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved. Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher? Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And the final board is the Zoning Board of Adjustment. Seats 1, 2, and 3, along with alternate 1 and 2 are vacant. Seat 1, Julian Calagridis has requested reappointment, and seat 3, Courtney Fetzer has also requested reappointment. And just to point out, you cannot serve simultaneously on the Planning Commission and the Board of Adjustment.
Okay, so Amit Patel cannot. Because we just put him on the planning, right?
Correct.
And neither can Megan Marshall.
And neither can Russell.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Fetzer requested reappointment, 0 2 meetings, correct?
Are you asking me?
I
I wasn't
just want
there,
to say an
but
updated statement.
That is, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm just stating that as what I see in my piece of paper. I think she'd be a great asset, but I don't know what percentage of meetings that we qualify or quantify. So
How many meetings do we typically have for zoning? That's as needed.
It's as needed.
It's
It
as-
meets, just probably 4 or 5 times a year.
So is a scheduled meeting, because I respect everybody's time.
Well,
So
yeah.
do we set meetings?
It has a set meeting date, and if there are cases, the board is brought in to hear the cases. If not, then they're advised there are no cases this month.
And the other members, the 3 other current members who are not up for reappointment attended 1 out of 2 meetings.
So I would like Courtney to be back on the board, just some guidelines of attendance of meetings or percentage-wise if the council so pleasures it.
Okay, so you want to reappoint Courtney Fetzer?
I do, and Julian also.
Okay, let me write them in here, seat 3. We're going to put Courtney in the same seat and Julian, seat 3 and 1, respectively. Seat 2, vacant.
Jennifer Mazza?
All right, Jennifer Mazza, seat 2. And lastly, we have the alternate 1. Any names?
For alternate 1?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Councilman Urban, you have,
I was just gonna say Jose Ortiz, but if,
okay.
Jose Ortiz? All right, everybody good with that one? And we have a slate. So seat 1, Julian Calogridis. Seat 2, Jennifer Mazza. Seat 3, Courtney Fetzer. Alternate 1, Jose Ortiz. Can we get a motion?
to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Nice and easy.
Thank you, Scott. All right, next up, we have our first readings and introduction section. The next items on the agenda are ordinances before the council for first reading and introduction for the sole purpose of the council to authorize the publication of the ordinance for final hearing. The council will not take final action on the item tonight. Full presentations and public input on the ordinance will occur at a final hearing at which the council will consider final action. Will the clerk please read item number 1?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation approximately plus minus 20.39 acres identified as Neo City South Phase 1, project CPA 25-00018, generally located north of future Renulti Road Turnpike interchange, southeast of Cross Prairie Parkway, and west of Florida's Turnpike from MDR medium density residential to IND industrial, providing for amending of the official future land
Hang
use
on.
map.
We need a quorum. Ken, I'm gonna need you. Yeah, Councilmember Urban's out, and we have one on the phone.
I
so
didn't
we're-
see him, he stuck
Yeah.
out on me. I apologize.
Just gonna leave me and
I
Councilman
apologize,
Paul.
Mayor.
You're
You're a
fine.
sneaky guy, isn't
I
he?
mean, we can hold
No,
off
no,
on
we're
the
good. No,
votes.
no, we're good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize, Mayor. I apologize, Mayor, and all council.
Industrial, and providing for amending of the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, following the planning commission's recommendations, proof of publication, applicability, effect, severability, copies on file and effective date.
Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion approved, Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Second.
Second, Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban? Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
Madam Clerk, please read item number 2.
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing a zoning amendment for the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changes zoning designation approximately plus minus 20.39 acres identified as Neo City South Phase 1, project ZMA 25-00024 from AC Agricultural and Conservation to P Professional, generally located north of the future Nolte Turnpike interchange, southeast of Cross Prairie Parkway and west of the Florida's Turnpike, providing for entering the designation official zoning map, following the Planning Commission's recommendations, proof of publication, severability, and effective date.
And can we get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Paul.
Second.
Second, Councilmember Urban. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert? Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1.
4-0.
I mean 4-0, sorry.
Sorry. Didn't mean to correct you, Ivy.
No, you're fine.
And will the clerk please read item number 3?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2026-03, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, to annex into the City of St. Cloud approximately plus minus 5.26 acres, identifies as Burr Oak Boulevard Commercial Project, ANX 25-00022, generally located north of Burr Oak Boulevard, east of Ty West Drive, south of East Earl Bronson Memorial Highway, and west of Live Oak Lake Road, in accordance with the voluntary annexation provisions of Chapter 171.044 Florida statutes.
Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Councilmember Paul, second. And will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert, Councilmember Fletcher,
Aye.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Will the clerk please read item number 4?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2026-04, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, assigning a future land use designation approximately plus minus 5.26 acres, identified as Burr Oak Boulevard, project CPA 25-00013, generally located north of Burr Oak Boulevard, east of Ty West Drive, south of East Earl Bronson Memorial Highway, and west of Live Oak Lake Road, from COM Commercial County to COM Commercial City, providing for amending of the official future land use map of the comprehensive plan, filing the Planning Commission's recommendations, proof of publication, applicability effect, severability copies on file, and effective date.
Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert, Councilmember Fletcher,
Aye.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0.
Will the clerk please read item number 5?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2026-05, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, providing the zoning amendment of the zoning map of the Land Development Code of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, specifically changing the zoning designation approximately plus minus 5.26 acres identified as Burr Oak Boulevard, project PUD 26-00001, formerly ZMA 25-00017, from PD Plan Development to County to PUD Plan Unit Development Preliminary Master Plan, PUD PMP City. Zoning designation with the commercial future land use designation adopted by ordinance number 2026-04, generally located north of Burr Oak Boulevard, east of Tay West Drive, south of East Earl Bronson Memorial Highway, and west of Live Oak Lake Road, providing for entering the designation official zoning map, following the Planning Commission's recommendations, proof of publication, severability, and effective date.
All right, can we get a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fletcher,
Aye.
Councilmember Paul,
Aye.
Councilmember Urban,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert,
Aye.
Mayor Robertson.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And will the clerk please read item number 6?
First reading and introduction for ordinance number 2026-09, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of St. Cloud, Florida, amending Article 13, Special Purpose Overlay District, Section 3.13.3, Entertainment District, amending subsection C, outside consumption of in the district, subparagraph 1, district possession consumption hours, revising the days and hours for authorized consumption of alcoholic beverages within the entertainment district, providing for conflict severability, administrative corrections, codification, publication, effective date.
Can I get a motion on that?
Can I make a comment before I motion? Are we allowed
Absolutely.
to? So I had discussions with our chief of police about this, and I think it's best if it's to come back for the second reading, to keep the cutoff at midnight, just by talking to the law enforcement experts in the area. I like the 7 days a week still, it simplifies things, but still to cut it off at midnight, and we can always revisit it as our city grows. So if the council's good with giving that direction, coming back for the second reading, I would make a motion for approval.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Yeah, may I comment on that? Thank you, Councilman Urban. I've got a lot of reactions from citizens and owners and such. And there is a residential area within our entertainment zone. And the longer you keep the entertainment zone open, I think please, the more nonsense goes on. So I would like to have it 7 days a week. I'd like to have it kind of a city ordinance for loud music or fireworks or anything like that, in that same consideration for those citizens that live in that entertainment district, which we do have occupancy there. Sometimes you don't know it if you don't live it, and I don't live in the entertainment zone. But I've had people say, no, we want to get to sleep. They don't adhere to it anyway. So I'd like to ask council, if we all lived in an entertainment zone, where would we like to at least slow it down so it goes that way? You can have whatever you want, but to transfer that to another location is advancing the closing hour, if that makes sense. So I'd like us to consider as a council, you know, the residents and also that, and what impact does it have, and also the police. Because of course, with the CRA, the police are not, we don't have police there anymore with the CRA. We still do, but they're not assigned to it. So let's look reasonably how we satisfy. I don't really think it helps the restaurants and bars, but I think it hurts the residents. So just please consider that as we pass these ordinances and we pass this entertainment. And I would certainly like the chief of police or Mac to come up and tell us, they lived it. Does it affect us? Does it not? What would they think? Because they're the ones making sure we continue to be the safest city in this state.
Chief, hold on one second. City Attorney.
I just
Let
want,
him chime
this
in.
is first reading and introduction, so I don't know if Mr. Gilbert, you're asking for more basis for justifying this ordinance or more discussion as to where we're headed.
I just want information from the people that know. I'm looking for information only.
Okay.
I'm not looking for, to vote on it or anything. I'm just looking for the experts that walk the streets. That's all I'm
Drinking?
looking for, if that's okay, Attorney.
Yeah, Doug Gerke, Police Chief. Officer McDonald is here. He's our CRA officer. He is still truly assigned to the CRA, so we do have officers there. He gets around with the business owners quite a bit. He does speak to them a lot. We have very, very minimal challenges with people carrying alcohol outside. And what we do right now is more of an educational piece. If they did not recognize that, sometimes it's not necessarily, I think that's, the posting is something we were going for, so people understood them. And I know that's something we've been working towards in the workshops and everything. So more education is perfect for them, but currently we're really not seeing that, which is why Councilman Urban and I, we had that conversation about potentially just leaving it at midnight. That was one of the reasons that, because after midnight, we really don't see a lot of people walking around with alcohol. We certainly don't want that anyway. It's easier. Let them finish their drinks wherever they are in their facility after midnight, and then they can go home and go on their way. So I think the midnight was definitely a good recommendation from the police department. But as far as encountering a lot of open container alcoholic beverages, it's very minimal at this point. So, and we can only strengthen that as we grow the city and the downtown area. And that's why I recommended we can always revisit this in the future if there's
Yeah,
challenges.
And Councilmember, or Deputy Mayor Gilbert, you mentioned the noise as well. Yeah, it does sometimes get a little crazy downtown and past midnight. It's booming. So there should be a noise ordinance already on the
There is.
books. But I think that needs to be enforced. It gets pretty bad. So,
Well, thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to ask
I
the
know
questions.
you're not usually downtown at midnight in
That's
our St.
Superman.
Cloud.
I work
He's
24
everywhere.
hours a day, sir. I'm not
Hey,
sure.
where
I'm
does
on
the phone
hour
booth?
16
He's
right
there.
now, so no issues, no issues. But that is something we can potentially visit down the line with decibel meters and things like that to make sure that we're addressing that as well. And again, we try to do that as an educational campaign to start.
Yeah,
before we
I
have
don't
to get
think it
into
needs to be
something else.
blaring 3 blocks away or, at 2 o'clock in the morning.
The only thing I can say to that honestly is, as it gets cooler at night, the air thins, and believe it or not, sound does travel further at night. We're even using that when we're responding with lights and sirens at night. We're cautious of that because it actually does travel quite a bit. When the air thins out a little bit, you can actually hear for further blocks, like blocks away. So.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for letting me ask those informational, because between Mac and the chief, we want it to be a good balance between our entertainment district and also our residents. But I've heard from the entertainment district, if it's 11 or 1, it doesn't change the revenues in which these establishments make money.
By that time, people are pretty stationary where they're gonna finish their last couple hours.
Exactly, and by that time, we don't want them walking to another place. Yeah.
Okay.
So, that, and I appreciate that, Dan, but it was just information.
So you got a few nods to add that into the,
We're gonna
There was a motion.
he made,
did you
well,
make a motion?
He said
thought it was
motion, he said the
information.
motion with the change.
well, no, but this is first reading,
This
remember?
first- yeah.
His motion, as I understood it, would be if the council was agreeable to it, he would make the motion to to approve first reading, changing the hours from 1 o'clock to 12.
It's not an actual motion, if the council would.
That's how he said it,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's,
Yeah, so I would make a motion to approve changing the hours back to midnight, but for 7 days a week.
and amending it to include that.
And I would
Saying
also
I'm
ask,
Approving this, but with that.
I would ask Councilman Urban and the rest of the council to use it at 11 PM, concentrating on weekdays, weeknights, instead of 12 AM, to bring it down to 11.
Are you saying on weekdays, 11?
I think we could just, look, my opinion, that way everybody kind of stays understanding what it is, just 12 o'clock.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I've listened from both parties.
People may forget what day
I've
of the week
listened
it
from the
is.
patrons, I've listened from the residents. And they say after 11 o'clock,
I do understand, and with respect to you, I think the point of my idea of this was to kind of simplify it for the residents and for the police officers enforcing it, to just have a consistent policy 7 days a week, instead of saying, well, it's Tuesday, so it's 11, or it's Saturday, so it's 12. It just gets confusing for residents and for everybody enforcing it. So I would prefer to keep it consistent throughout the 7 days, but of course, it's up to the council.
well, I believe the mayor thinks the same way you do, and I don't know the pleasure of Paul, but, Ms. Paul, but
I was
think-
gonna ask, what do other areas who have the entertainment district, what are their cutoff times?
I don't have that.
Winter Garden, Winter Park,
Can we get
bring-
that
Yeah,
information?
this, again,
and-
this is first reading. We can bring this back. We don't necessarily have to, we can leave the first reading of the ordinance as it's currently before you, which is 1 o'clock. When you do the final motion at the next time this comes in front of you, you could figure out whether you go to 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock. So we just need a motion to approve the first reading as is.
All right, before we move forward, Officer McDonald, do you have anything else, anything to add to what we've talked? Oh, you can come on up here, sir, yeah, thank you. Oh, you gotta say into the microphone now. Your boots on the ground here.
Officer McDonald, St. Cloud Police Department. I've been in the CRA district for going on 3 years now. Just for clarification, first of all, I think amazing, the 7-day thing. And this is me speaking to my business owners on a regular basis, every single day. Chief already stated it. The cutoff, I think, I'm not saying, maybe I'm assuming, the cutoff isn't to stop, so it's not last call. The cutoff is referencing when they can walk around the city with alcohol in their hands. 11, 12, as everyone has said here, it really does not affect revenue. What does affect revenue, and you made a very strong point, very, very smart point, is this, why not 7 days a week? You're inviting people to come downtown to enjoy a wine, to enjoy a beer, but only on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which cuts off revenue to the businesses on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. People would like to have a wine, a beer, or what have you, and walk around and look at the businesses in the shops. I've personally had the opportunity to speak to the business owners who think that would be an amazing idea. Why can't they walk around with their wine or their beer and see our shop and see our goods and increase the productivity and the revenues, especially with the 300 new units coming right across the street and bringing in more people? So again, Chief and I have had this discussion. He asked my opinion. I gave him my opinion. He said everything exactly the way it was said. And the 7-day-a-week thing, I think that would bring a massive influx of revenue to our city and to our downtown area.
Yes, sir.
It's just my opinion, and that's based on speaking to the business owners and getting to know them over 3 years. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much
Yes,
for
sir. Thank you, Chief.
your input. Thank you, Chief. Okay, so we're doing a motion with the change.
And the
Motion to approve.
changes to midnight, just
Well,
to clarify?
I was suggesting you just approve it as first reading.
But you've
and then-
already getting a kind of nod to
And
change
we got
it.
an understanding of where the council's headed with this, and then we can finalize the hours at the time, at final adoption.
Okay, so it's advertised the way it is, because it doesn't reference it in
It
this.
doesn't reference the hour.
So we can do that, just
We've
mental
got
note.
good direction that we know
Motion to
it's not
approve
1
first
o'clock.
All right, can I get a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve the first reading.
Motion approved. Councilmember Urban.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Paul. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, City Attorney, you have anything to add?
Just one quick heads up, at your workshop on next week, we'll be discussing pending bills before the legislature. I do have several of them that I'd like to talk to you about, and we'll get some direction about how you want to move forward. But if you have any that are of particular interest to you that you'd like to discuss next week, please let me know, and we're happy to. If they're not on my list, I'll be happy to make sure that they're on the list.
All right, thank you, sir. City Manager?
Thank you. I have a few items. First, the Osceola Council on Aging has asked, and I had a meeting with them and with the Osceola County Housing and Community Services Department. Osceola County administers our SHIP program, which is money that we do receive from the state. And we're being asked if we would support our SHIP funds being allocated to the Council on Aging as a subrecipient to directly serve seniors with rehab assistance in the city limits. It would allow the direct services to be provided to seniors by a trusted source and in an expedited manner versus going through the normal application process. So these, the county would still administer SHIP funds, but it would be another resource. The Council on Aging has direct access to a lot of people in need that are already in our city limits. Through both agencies, they would be vetted. It would just help, as it's explained to me, it would help people with the smaller projects to be completed faster. For instance, going through the county process, it's usually bigger rehab projects that are going to take more time, that need to be sent out to multiple contractors for quotes. This would allow the Council on Aging to do the work themselves on smaller projects, such as a roof replacement. And so I think it's a great move. It's an additional resource, and it helps a lot of our seniors and veterans that are already working with the Council on Aging. Just looking for consensus for me to send that letter.
Are you good as long as that Osceola County SHIP bleeds into St. Cloud?
It has to be spent here.
All of it,
Yeah.
yes, 100% has to be in the city limits.
So, yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Also, Council on Aging, we just passed the proclamation policy this evening. They received grant funds, and in order for them to get their funding for the March for Meals, they need to have, they're requesting that we could please adopt a proclamation at the March meeting for the March for Meals so that it will help them with their grant. Otherwise, it would hurt them. The new process, you would vote at the next meeting for a proclamation at the following meeting. I'm asking for consensus that if we could go ahead and put it on the March meeting now that we're doing proclamations again. And this does directly go along with the policy. It's just, it would be an expedited process here.
I'm good with that.
Okay, got 3. Just because we have a lot of citizens that come up on a regular basis and ask us about the hotel, I just want to remind everybody that the St. Cloud Hotel is going back to the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate on February 18th. So we are still moving forward with action against that. Additionally, I wanted to now move to positive things. Congratulate all of our employees who received their service awards last Friday. Thank you to the council members who were able to come. And then some other good news. So we all recently saw that our beloved Deputy Police Chief Zilke went ahead and retired, but that did allow a lot of opportunity for advancement in our police department. So I just want to recognize that we have a new Deputy Police Chief, Denise Roberts. It's the first female Deputy Police Chief in the department. But we also had some great advancements, so I wanted to recognize that our new Captain Anthony Mandello and our new Sergeant Dave Finenko also. And last but not least, Engine 35 will be going into, Fire Engine 35 will be going into service next month, and with that, we had the opportunity to have some additional advancements in the fire department. So I didn't want to leave them out. So we did promote some fire lieutenants for that engine, and I wanted to recognize the new lieutenants, Daniel Thibodeau, Angel Rodriguez, John Luzzi, and William Tilford. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, City Manager. All right, we'll start on the end here. We have Councilmember Paul.
Yes, so I wanted to bring up get clarification on the process for an hourly employee to get the COLA. I know HR is not here, and typically we're not in the day-to-day, but I just wanted to get clarification on how that process is handled for hourly employees to get that.
Every October 1st, all the employees typically get whatever amount the city council adopts as the COLA added to their next paycheck or the next payroll.
Okay, so what makes an employee not eligible to get the COLA?
I don't have the personnel rules here in front of me. Is there a specific instance that we need to look at? Was there a mistake?
Well, there is a concern, and there is a valid one where an employee did not get it, but then they just started getting it this year. So I just wanted to find out what makes an employee not eligible to get that.
I would need to look into the specific situation onto why someone didn't receive it. I don't have that.
Okay.
If you could tell me the employee's name, we could look into it, and I can provide you that information.
Okay, I can send you an email on that. Then secondly, I wanted to bring up a conversation. Last year, I attended different conferences, and I know some cities operate with full-time and part-time, but as far as when it comes to the mayor, I think because we're growing rapidly, wanted to get open it up for discussion on the possibility of a full-time mayor, because I know with the city growing, this is part-time, but for us, but I think for a mayor should really be more hands-on, full-time. So just wanted to see what the council thought. I know I spoke to
Trying
other
give me
mayors.
more work?
I also spoke to other mayors in surrounding areas, and they thought they loved the idea. Some of them are already doing it because of the growth of their city, but no one opposed it at all when I had a conversation with them. So
I think that would be through a charter amendment. They would have to. Correct, Dan? I'll let
Well-
you address that. I'm not the attorney.
Well, all your positions are part-time. You certainly could say, okay, a position is going to be full-time, and then we could talk about an adjustment in this compensation for it. I'm not sure, Councilwoman Paul, if you're referring to what's referred to as a strong mayor position or as a full-time mayor, because if you're referring to what is typically called a strong mayor, which the city, under your city charter, this is a city manager form of government. The council establishes policy. The mayor votes like everybody else. He has additional duties related to representing the city, ceremonial duties, running the meeting, those kind of things. But the day-to-day activities are determined by the city manager. If that's what you're referring to, which is commonly referred to as a strong mayor government, then as the mayor just pointed out, that would require a charter change, which we'd have to draft an ordinance to move in that direction, and then it would have to be placed on the ballot for the voters to decide whether they want to change the form of government here in St. Cloud.
Okay. And the other was a full-time mayor. That's a whole other.
Well, full-time mayor to me doesn't necessarily.
I think I'm there already.
Well, thankfully, you guys, the more you work,
Oh, yeah,
the less
the
you get
chief
paid,
works a lot
so-
for less than I do.
But-
Believe it or not. It's-
That wouldn't be, the way I understand it, that wouldn't necessarily be an expansion of any duties that are contained in the charter already, right?
Correct.
Don't we have a resolution that can be amended to increase the pay for our electeds commensurate with a full-time? I think that might be part of what you're asking.
I'd have to look into that because you have an ordinance in place that establishes your pay. What the charter says is the city council shall establish its pay. There are, from a ethics and a conflict provision, there are issues with regard to voting to give yourselves your own salary increase, so we'd have to work through that. So if the idea is to increase the mayor to full-time to give him the the ability to spend more time doing this, doing what he's doing, by compensating more so there's less distraction from having to have another job, frankly, then we probably could work through that. But we'd have to understand that the charter still sets the duties for the mayor and what the mayor can be involved in. So really would be this expansion of the duties you currently have now.
Those are the two things. Which one were you referring to?
I think we can open it up for discussion. I mean, I've heard strong mayors as well, and then there's some that's full-time, so I think it's just a conversation further to decide which.
I've heard a lot of different, I know Winter Springs has a different kind of thing that they're trying to change theirs up, and where they have a non-voting mayor.
Yes, there's a couple of cities that
And I
all,
think there's 7 members
they
on
have
that.
7 members and the,
And they're trying to make him a voting member.
right. So
But it's a weird,
Some of them are set up where they'll have, some will have 6 members, including the mayor, and the mayor only votes in the case of a tie, or 7 members, and the mayor only votes in case of a tie, otherwise the mayor just runs the meeting. But the mayor still does all the same things that, for example, that you do, but doesn't get the vote most
yeah.
of the time.
And with the Tri-County League of Cities, the Florida League of Mayors, all the trainings I've been doing, I've met most of their council members and see them quite often, so. All right, yeah, we can, so is that something we'll add to an agenda in the future, a workshop, or to discuss both? If you can bring back the information on both.
Sure, if that's the pleasure of the council,
Scenarios.
certainly.
Okay.
We can put it,
Yeah.
I would suggest you put it on a workshop. Then if
Yeah,
you
I can go ahead and tell you, go ahead and put it on a workshop. That way we get that, the facts and figures for Councilmember Paul.
All right, so we will be having Roots and Rhythm on February 28th. That is hosted by St. Cloud Main Street and Granny's Southern. So that is celebrating Black History Month. On that note, I know we just passed the proclamation policy tonight. Everyone, well, the whole entire council participated in Dave Eady Day on Saturday, which was a great event, hearing of a community member who has done much for his community by giving back as well. Wanted to see about presenting a proclamation at this event in his honor.
And that falls in accordance with the new proclamation policy? Is that kind of how we do it?
Well,
I don't know. That's why I'm just asking. Or are you asking for something a little different?
No, I know because we just passed it tonight, basically I would have to bring it up at the next meeting, which February 28th is in a couple of weeks, and the next meeting is in March, so.
Well, we have a workshop next week, correct?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor.
Just an idea, Councilman
Did you just
Paul.
hit your light, or?
Yeah, I did,
Sorry.
because I was there in a wonderful presentation, wonderful, everything was awesome. Patience is something I learned at 63, at 32 I didn't have it. But could you imagine if we have the field dedicated to him when Hopkins Park opens?
Oh, the baseball.
Could we have, once we renovate Hopkins Park, and not the little 22 by 28 signs,
Yes.
but a banner and a thing, and would that be something you would think of? I thought of it when I pulled out of there and drove by. Would that be something you would like to see? I would.
Oh, yes, I mean, just hearing his bio from his niece, definitely.
Which is the
That man went to bed at
deputy, she's the
5:30.
deputy mayor of Kissimmee. Is she the deputy mayor of Kissimmee?
Yes, Angela Eady, yes, that is her father, so.
But I thought about dedicating the fields like they did Coach Fields that coached at St. Cloud in Harmony for over 40-some years. They dedicated a field. It'd be great to dedicate the field to him, and we could vote on it as a council as Hopkins gets built. Just a comment, and I know it's your comment time, but as I drove away, I thought that'd be cool to have him to have that forever memories.
No, that would be cool. I agree with you. I think we should look at that. I think it's on that outfield fence along the road. I never knew it was named David Eady Field. I now know it's on the outside of that fence as you drive down the road. I think it should be prominently displayed, more prominently displayed in the park, and we should be able to do that during the, when we open that park up. But I think in the name of Black History Month, and that he was a leader in our community, I would not be opposed to that. Obviously, listening to friends and family members speak about him, and I saw the pictures. Obviously, I wish I'd have known him, but I made the joke, he couldn't have been a council member because he went to bed every night at 6 o'clock. Who does that? Councilmember Urban. Well, oh, you go to bed at 6?
Not 6, but 8.
Is that where you go when you walk out? What are the rest of y'all's thoughts on that? I'm not opposed to that.
It is consistent with the
Yes.
proclamation policy, just to jump in here.
Okay, so we can vote on it now.
You could vote on it
Because we've already approved
now,
the policy.
and it could be presented at a private event outside of a city council meeting if requested. So it would be consistent if you voted on it this evening.
Would you like to make the motion on that?
Motion to approve proclamation for Dave Eady.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the proclamation from Councilmember Paul and a second from Deputy Mayor Gilbert. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Urban?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Gilbert?
Aye.
Councilmember Fletcher?
Aye.
Councilmember Paul?
Aye.
Mayor Robertson?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, let me keep going.
Good one.
I want to say, like to send my thank yous. And back in December, some of the firefighters reached out to me and they came up with an initiative of a way to celebrate Black History Month and represent the unity in the community. So they asked me if I can find sponsors for some T-shirts that were made. And want to say thank you to Deputy Mayor Gilbert as well as Everglades Equipment Group for sponsoring these firefighters. Darian White did pick them up today. I told him to send me a picture with the Chief Miller in his shirt. So wanted to say thank you again. All right, so thank you for that as well. They were very appreciative of it and happy to get that. They said it was the first initiative that they did, and our Chief Miller did bless the approval, so thank you. And last week I had a meeting with the Chief of Staff with U.S. Hunger. Every year I participate in the MLK Day of Service in Orange County at the Convention Center. So the actual CEO is actually from Narcoossee area, raised under the Whitted family. His cousin is there, Jackie. And I always bugged him about doing this event in Osceola County, which brings thousands of food to communities that are in need. So we spoke to Dr. Shanoff. He was on the call last week. And Sarah Lee is actually funding $250,000 to have events over here. They can have up to 10. So Dr. Shanoff was considering having it at the schools because they do have pantries at the schools where students come in when they're in need. And the food that is packed will be given to the pantry at the schools. So I spoke to some other elected officials who are in on it as well, and was hoping that we can get St. Cloud in as well to participate in this event, and more details will come
Is
on
Sarah
that.
Lee one of our residents?
No, this is the Sarah Lee bread.
Ken knows Sarah Lee.
Yes, so more information on that as well. And then lastly, I know I reached out to our city manager earlier in the week regarding Toho. As Ms. Odom stated before about the flooding area and some of the problems that it's causing in this area, I know Toho is working to get their project completed, but I want to see if we can have it at least prioritized, because there are residents in this area who is at risk of their septic failing, and the grant money was received back in 2023 for this project, and I think to avoid the residents going out paying for something that is already a grant provided to the community, wanted to see if we can at least prioritize that, because I don't think it would be right for the resident to go pay for something and then they're going to be converted to sewer later. So just want to.
Could that be a reimbursement if they had done it?
Well, I asked that question, and Mr. Swingle said he added Caitlin in to see what possible assistance would be available.
He said
I'm
they'd
sorry.
be
I've got
happy.
both y'all's lights on. I hadn't noticed that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot to turn mine off also,
Okay.
but I have Mr. Swingle's email up. He said they'd be happy to engage any of the residents that are in this situation to review their specific challenges and see if there's anything that I am missing in terms of a way to support them, and that Caitlin would work closely with our deputy city manager on community coordination matters. So we could bring up if anybody has one of those specific situations.
And I know Ms. Odom has issues of her own, but she's also reaching out to the community in that area to see if they're having issues as well, to provide those names as well too, so. And that is all I have.
Yeah, and as you saw, tonight she was here speaking on behalf of her community, not just her property, her neighbors as well, so
Yes.
that's great.
She's very vocal.
Yeah, that's good. All right, that's it, Councilmember Paul. And so next up, we'll go ahead and do Councilmember Fletcher.
I have nothing at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Councilmember Urban.
I have nothing, thank you.
All right, Deputy Mayor Gilbert.
Thank you, Mayor. Exciting stuff in the city of St. Cloud. One thing, I was sworn in as the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board, which is the board of the tri-counties, which is Seminole, Osceola, and Orange County. And what we do as a chairman, we coordinate all disadvantaged transportation. And it's exciting, but that's going up in disabled transportation. That goes anywhere from appointments to ambulances to, you'll see the Lynx buses and the vans going on, all of that. I was honored to be chairman of the 22-person board, but I'm starting to learn Seminole County has a scout program where they're not having buses, but vans, which hold 12 to 25 people. And they have distribution routes where they have buses. As you know, St. Cloud, Lynx has left us alone pretty much with buses. They've cut our routes, and and we need transportation. So as a chairman, I'm gonna represent the city of St. Cloud and Osceola County, because that's what I'm supposed to do, as in thinking differently on transportation for disadvantage. Not buses, but vans. Not single, but multiples. There's autonomy. There's a lot of stuff going on in this world right now where we need to get these people to their appointments, to their doctor appointments, to those kind of things. But it's not, hey, jump on a bus. They can't. So what I'm looking at is a scout program that's in Seminole County to bring it here to Osceola County, which shortens the length of the transportation mode, the bus to be vans. So I will update you on that, but I'm honored to represent the city of St. Cloud as a chairman. It's a 22-person board. But I'm also excited to see how we can change transportation to be more efficient in Osceola County as we move forward. So I'd like to thank the council for allowing me to continue my position as a member of the Metropolitan Board and also as a chairman of the Transportation Disadvantage Coordination Board, because it will help our county, but it also will help disadvantaged people. So I have to bring that report back to you because I can't talk about the exciting stuff we have on a daily basis. But we're doing it, it's working. There's 2.4 million people in the Tri-County area. That's bigger than the state of Delaware. There's 75 million people that are transported in the same counties. But my important thing is taking care of the disadvantaged people, and they need to make their doctor's appointments. That can't, that need to make those kind of things. So we're working on that, and I'm pleased that the council allowed me to stay with this board, and I'm not sitting down, I'm stepping forward. So I'd like to thank you for that, and I also like to look at, we went with grant situation to eliminating grants, but we also step up and award money to certain entities. I would like the board to think about how we base our fee waivers, our help to establish community partners that actually help the people of St. Cloud on a daily basis. Not on a day basis, but on a daily basis. Not on an event, but on a continual basis. And if you look at the report, and I'll send it to you, there's certain reports that we still give Early Learning Coalition Agreement, $12,000. Community engagement grants is over $100,000. And these are broad instances, But if we want to spend the money wisely in this community, in this council, I would like us to look at what these folks are doing for us on a daily basis to give a hand up, not a hand out. So let's look at that as a council, and I don't know how to do it, city manager. I ask for the pleasure of the council to look at the grants. Even though we got rid of our grant program, we still give $100,000 away for events and grants. I will have the city manager pass that out to everybody, but I want to look at a program that helps advance the city in advancement for all underprivileged, but for every underprivileged. So I don't have the answer, I just have the questions, and I don't get to talk to you guys. And I'm asking you to think of how we look at some of these entities, and if we can, city manager, pass this out. I think Coop, I think you put this together. And then let's work on the dailies. I mean, community grant training, Christmas parade, Help Now. I mean, there's so many out there, but I would like it to get, I'd like us to zone in on a daily basis of helping the community. I don't know the answer, and that's the only question I ask you, council, to let's help the people that are helping St. Cloud in the transformation of being dependent to being independent, if that's a good question.
Yes, sir. City manager, you had a comment?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I'll pass that. That's a printout of our actual budget line item from the city council's budget. Several of those entities are not getting the grants, the community agency grants. The council just did away with that.
Is that the AS400?
Yes, that's the AS400 printout. There's in there the transition house. We're not doing that again this year. So I might recommend, instead of passing out that email, maybe I can give you a spreadsheet that kind of shows what's been discontinued and what's actually still active, maybe just to help with that. I agree. You're having a lot of individual requests now that the grant program went away.
Right. And again, I'm all into helping, but I want a hand up, not a handout. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel you grow with that. And I don't have the answers, but I have the questions. If council could consider how we forward this taxpayers' dollars to help individuals get better instead of feed them once, teach them how to fish, feed them forever. Don't have the answer, but we have a great council. I'm honored to be a part of this council. I'd like you guys to consider what organizations we handle that actually help build the future of our citizens of St. Cloud. With that, I yield back, Mayor, and again, I don't have the answers, and thank you very much for today.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor. First off, today was kind of cool. I was at Home Depot and got to talking to a gentleman, and he was actually one of our new residents in Twin Lakes, and he said, hey, yeah, I met you and the Chiefs, and it was so cool to have us there. So I just wanted to bring that up, that we are making an impact when we go out there and visit these folks and show them that our law enforcement and our fire department, that they are there to protect them and give them great public safety. I want to ask the fire chief to please come up to the podium. I know he's busy doing a lot of hard work on that phone.
Playing a couple of games of solitaire or something.
The chief,
Free cell.
Chief Miller gave me a tour of the public safety headquarters, the new fire safety headquarters and Station 32. I want him to kind of give a recap of kind of what we talked about and how amazing that those facilities are becoming.
So to start with, the day that the fire rescue, fire administration, and the crews moved into Fire Station 31 on Minnesota in, I believe it was 2007, we had already surpassed the occupancy that it was designed for. We had literally moved a storage room and made it an office that day. As we walk through our new fire headquarters, which construction's progressing marvelously on, we're super excited as far as the time frame. We have a couple of public conference room areas, so we can have some outside meetings that won't impact the rest of the operations because they're off to the side, kind of cordoned off. So we have some public areas there. You proceed down. We have our own kind of like pods for our fire prevention folks. Our logistics folks have their own little pod, as well as one whole wing of the building for all of our fire department needs. We have, over on the other side, this will be the first time, when we are all done and designed and built out, we will have 9 extra offices. No, you cannot move over there, Doug, as much as I like you.
He's gonna take
George
over-
is more than welcome, though.
He's gonna take over the whole building.
George is more than welcome.
He just wants one of the bedrooms in there. 'Cause he works
So when
24/7.
it's all said and done, we'll also have, 104 by 26 area for future expansion. That area was originally designed for a gym for fire headquarters and locker rooms. Due to the cost of developing that site and some of the issues we've run into, namely there was columns that were not on any of the plans, so that kind of caused us to have to do some redesign. The windows, when they were put in there, were not waterproofed, as we found out, and when we're upgrading to impact windows. Surprise, little things that just popped up, right? But with that said, this is going to be a great facility. We're going to be moving in there. It's designed to meet our future needs as far as for our inspectors, our logistics, and our office space for many, many years to come. There's also a storage area, secure storage area for finance records and for all of the city clerk's records. So I'm sure they're anxious to get that off the 3rd floor, so the floor maybe won't swag so much up here. As for Fire Station 32, we are a little ahead of schedule. Don't have an exact time frame, but they are moving on that building. They were painting it today, as a matter of fact. The outside is supposed to be dried in tomorrow. Interior walls are already up. They're getting ready to do the rough electric and plumbing. So before long, we'll be doing a groundbreaking, or not groundbreaking, but a hose uncoupling ceremony out there to move in there. In the
And
meantime,
it was so cool with the drive-through bays now, as opposed to what we had in the past.
Yep.
And the separation, so the exhaust fumes don't get into the living quarters. I think
it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Cancer-resistive building for firefighters, right? A lot of the old fire stations, they used to have basically they used to hang out in the apparatus bays, and they had all their bunker gear that would have diesel exhaust blow all over it. And they didn't have airlocks in between buildings that were all together or breezeways. And then, of course, studies show that cancer is prevalent in the fire service. There's no doubt about that. And those were some of the leading causes of cancer. So we're taking proactive steps. Also with your support, the council's support last budget and this budget, we replaced all of the bunker gear that had PFAS in it, which was a known cancer agent. So we're taking great strides in making our firefighters safer.
Very cool. I thoroughly enjoyed that tour. I recommend anybody else reach out. to
Anybody
the
else,
fire
feel
chief.
free, reach out. We'll go for a
It's really
ride.
cool. Me and Deputy Mayor took one, 6-8 months ago, and the everything they've done there is just amazing. Yeah. And they're still working at it. Their logistics, they were bagging up gear and.
So, and just I want to touch on one more thing with Fire Station 32. Its future home, obviously, we'll have an engine, a rescue, the tower truck out there, and we have flexible space there. So if we ever decide to put an additional unit in service, whether it be for a hurricane or growth of that area, it's already designed for it. We built it at today's construction prices instead of 10 years from now remodel prices, which is going to be a whole lot more. Fire Station 35, Tahokwa. They are doing the stem wall. They've already got the footers in, and we're off to the races on that one. So I would expect, I want to say that one's got about 340 days left on construction time, but I would guess they're probably going to run ahead of schedule on that one too.
Yeah, no, you guys are rocking it. Obviously, the Sunday night when it got freezing cold, or Saturday night, you guys worked all night. I know a number of Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, I know, our poor blizzards. I was actually out of town, but I was listening to the call somewhere around Coco Cay off the coast there. And I was actually coordinating some stuff back here on the States. I was doing some phone calls with that. Last but not least, next Thursday afternoon, Friday, and part of Monday, our fire admin will have reduced availability. We are transitioning over into the new fire headquarters building, into the one section there where we have a couple offices built out. We're going to cram in there. This is anticipation of our next graduating class of SAFER grant employees. We need the space at 31 so we can start getting them trained up and get some more additional trucks in service.
Yeah, my apologies, I couldn't make the last, the ceremony. I know we had a number of council members there. And how many did you swear in that? Depending on that?
Promoted, I want to say we had 11 promotions, if I'm remembering correctly, and I think we swore in 19. 18, 19, yeah.
That's the most work you've had to do, is it?
That was our
Or
largest
this
ever
is-
ceremony. Depending on how the timelines fall, our next one won't be quite that big, but it'll be pretty close. It'll be, we're sitting there.
Yeah, you're doing a great job advertising out for these spots. How many of you have you got in? So,
Got-
of the 48? what are
So
we
of the
looking at?
48, we've hired 36. We're kind of taking it easy on those next 12, trying to see if we can't recruit some more paramedics. They are trickling in. We're still advertising for those firefighter paramedics, so we welcome everybody to apply. I think I actually invited a few to apply at our swearing-in ceremony from other agencies who were there, so.
Yeah, no, that SAFER grant really helped our city. And how many millions do we get for that?
9.4, 9.5-ish.
Yeah, and that pays for the first 3 years of salary for all of these.
A percentage
A
of,
percentage of.
yeah, I believe it's 75, 65, 35? 65, 65, 35.
Very cool.
That's why I have the finance director. He keeps me straight on my numbers.
And I know it wasn't easy getting that, and as we continue to grow, we have to staff these stations, and so thank you very much for everything you do, Jason.
Thank you.
And thank you, guys. They were out at Soldier City Sunday this past Sunday. They brought the ladder truck out, and, you know, they're really getting out there in with these community events, so I do appreciate that. Also with that Saturday, what was that, the coldest night in St. Cloud, it was cold. And like I said, I heard those sirens all night. And that next day, we had Civil War Day. Officer McDonald, and he's out there in the lobby, but he was out there while we fired off the cannons behind St. Cloud Hotel with the Jacob Summerlin Camp and the Sons of the Union. You know, we're going to start bringing more of those events here. And with the Museum of Military History, I have access to a lot of those folks that I'm going to encourage them to continue to bring that history and the education to our city. And I know you sit on the TDC board where the museum applied and we received tourism grants. And those grants are important. And instead of having it always in the west side of Kissimmee, I'm trying to bring more of that here. I know the city of St. Cloud, they take advantage of that grant process as well. So it's a really good tool to build on our tourism. And as Congressman Soto stated, you know, we need to focus on our veteran and military tourism here in our city. So also with that, I think, what do we have? I told you I got KVLS this Saturday, the following Saturday, and other than that, everything seems to be going great in our city. Deputy Mayor, yes, sir?
Do we have a pinning tomorrow, Mayor?
We do. We have our deputy police chief is being sworn in here in council chambers. I believe that is at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock PM, right here in our council chambers. Yeah, that's all right.
I'm
Our
looking-
deputy police chief, Denise Roberts, will be sworn in as the first
2
female
o'clock.
deputy chief.
Yes, it's at 2 o'clock.
Yep, so the whole, everybody's welcome to
And
join
very
us.
qualified, right? Mayor, and don't we have a parade or something? What's going on? Saturday?
Well, there's a rodeo parade, yes, there's a rodeo parade. That's not in my notes here, but yes, we do have
Are
a
we
Silver Spurs
gonna be
rodeo
there?
parade.
You
We
got
will
your
be in
cowboy
there.
hat?
We're gonna have our boots, our hats, and our spurs, and Kelly's gonna give us candy to throw out to folks, I think. I don't know.
That's exciting,
We're all
isn't
gonna
it?
Yep.
It's rodeo week, right?
Yes, it's gonna be a great time out there, and a very long day for me.
Don't you spend a lot of time out there, Mayor?
Yes, love it. I grew up out there, like hanging out, and so that was the history of our city, you know, growing up, and but yeah, I encourage everybody to join us, whether it be tomorrow for the swearing in or the rodeo, this weekend, the parade. So I think there was one other thing I wanted to bring up, and I just forgot it. That's okay. Anybody else have anything to bring up before we close it out? You good? All right. We have our information section, Thursday, February 19th, 2026, City Council Workshop, 2:30 PM, City Hall, Council Chambers. Monday, March 2nd, 2026, City Council Strategic Planning Workshop, 9 AM, Fire Training Facility. Thursday, March 12th, 2026, City Council meeting, 6:30 PM, City Hall, Council Chambers. And every single Sunday, we have Soldier City Sundays out there at Veterans Park, 11 AM to 2 PM. Vendors, veteran resources, come on out, bring your friends, bring your family, every single Sunday in Veterans Park. Hosted by the St. Cloud Veterans Council, sponsored by Orlando Health City of St. Cloud, or at Orlando Health St. Cloud. And with that, we have the reports, warrant list number 4, fiscal year 26, fiscal year 25-26, first quarter budget report. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.